So welcome everyone back to Tools for Annihilation on our Friday game. Was there something you wanted to say, Damien?
Did that fix the sound problem?
It hasn't happened yet, but you know, it's hard to tell. So, let me just get my camera set up, and then we are good to go. I don't know why it's not automatic. This thing is so frustrating. There it is. Okay. So last session, you guys were, well, over the last couple of days, been traveling away from the last bastion of civilization. Well, the only one, Port Nyanzaru, in short. You previously, for our new players, party has previously done a jaunt down the river Ocean Star, discovering much distress, much undead, much dinosaurs, and a variety of killer plants, and basically everything in the jungles of Shult wants to kill you and eat you in some form. After returning, and we'll get you into the city map, because this is Port Nyanzaru, bastion of civilization here in Shult, and it is run by the 7 merchant princes. You can find information about them in your player info folder in the journal tab in the top right of Roll20. And they are basically 7 very influential merchants that have a monopoly on the different aspects of trade here in Shult, whether it be weapons, spices, assassinations, herbs, things like that. Most of the time they work in unison, and there is a mercenary outfit that is hired to protect the city that is independent, the Flaming Fist, but you can come to learn about them in time. So the party has taken a ship now, left Port Nyanzaru, traveling around the coast, all the way around to the Mist Cliffs. So given their name because there is constantly this flow of white fog and mist that is pushed out from the jungle because of the condensation, and also getting caught there because of the high mountains. You guys have spent a couple of days traveling around the peninsula here, eventually getting assailed and having to fight for your life against a pirate ship, which was in fierce and short battle, and you managed to take down the group of pirates, which were led by the fearsome Elok Jahawan, who was actually a lycanthrope, a were-boar lycanthrope. Let's just see here. You guys will see the token.
Yes. Oh, did you flash it up?
I tried to flash it up, but I don't think that worked.
Then no.
I'll just make it really big. There's the handsome
That works
man.
too, yeah.
Okay, you took him down. You obviously had a bit of help, not very much at all, but a bit of help from the warriors that were sent with you from the city. And now we basically deal with the aftermath of that. We pretty much come to the end of combat, because I don't want to assume what you guys are going to be doing with the bodies, with you know, players do weird things, so we'll see what happens. The one thing I do want to ask though is Drace, your companion, you using the wild companion feature from the druid?
Yeah.
So that's effectively just a find familiar spell?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was under the assumption you were using, for some reason, that Beast of the Land Sky, but that's
actually,
something else.
So for the one that was attacking the ship, that one was specifically summon beast, or let me see the spell.
Oh,
that
okay.
was the spell.
Okay.
Second level spell.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Oh.
that pretty much is where we pick up. The two ships are scuttled together. It is morning. The sun is still coming up. You're still kind of fairly covered by the fog and mist that is coming down from the mist cliffs down onto the ocean. Birds flying around. I mean, you can see some sharks. I think 1 or 2 bodies fell into the water that would definitely be attracting predators at this point. You see the sharks get chased away by even larger creatures as plesiosaurs start to dominate the scene. Much larger and more intimidating. You see these kind of serpentine-like necks. Let's see if I got a handout for you. There we go.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah. that's where we pick up.
Nice.
So what are you guys doing? The two ships kind of anchored here now. Effectively, they've stopped moving.
I start going through their pockets.
Okay.
I'm phone up all the ones that survived of the other crew.
Very easy enough to kind of round everyone up. We'll say you do it, like get them all onto your ship, bound together as a group.
We should speak to the captain of our vessel, see if they are able to figure out a way to get this pirate ship moving.
You can hear the captain in the
I
background.
was gonna tell
Well,
him.
it would be a lot easier if you hadn't have burnt the mast to a cinder. But still,
I'm sorry.
I congratulate you. That was a rather swift takeover, if I don't say so.
Yeah,
How many
exactly
men did
what
we
they-
lose?
Thankfully, wait, I don't want to speak too soon. I don't think she lost any of her sailors. No, she lost one.
Oh, one.
Damn it, we lost one. He was a good man. We lost a couple of the soldiers that Wakanga Otamu sent with you, but I mean, it's what they were here for, I guess. I'm glad we had their backup.
We lost 4 of them.
We will
Yeah, they made it easy.
give them a burial at sea when we get a bit away from here, of course. So what's the plan? We've got a fairly hobbled ship now attached to our own.
Could we?
So I think
Fuck
we're
it.
going on our original plan. We rest up, recover from our injuries, and, well, continue on our plan.
Traveling along the western peninsula. And what, do we leave the ship here? Do we
No,
tow
we
it
tug it.
behind
Tow
us?
it.
I think we
Exactly.
tow it.
Be moving pretty slowly, but it is on your orders, I guess.
I will
How
help take
far
up
are
the
we?
slack.
We're not that far out, are we? We took only a day to get here, right?
No.
No, it was like a
4 or
week.
5.
Okay, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, and I was in bed the
We're
whole
looking
time.
like a couple weeks to get back, maybe. Towing the boat.
Yeah.
That's like 2. It's about 9
That's-
days to get back. Most likely 10 days.
Another option.
Well, I could probably pull it like 3 knots.
Another option. Another option. Maybe if there is some. Well, okay, no, she wouldn't recommend that. That's hella stupid. But if the pirates have a base out here, they probably have some means of repairal. Although you gotta obviously, get through them.
I might be
Yeah,
biting
that's-
off more than we could chew.
Precisely.
Well, we
Yeah, I
should
say we
probably
just tug the
question these
boat
pirates.
back.
Well,
But you do hear in the background, Captain, found prisoners! And some people are starting to be escorted up onto the deck. You can see their hands kind of red and raw. Everyone's kind of rubbing their wrists where the sailors have just kind of cut away their bonds. And the first 2 people up, let's see here, we get some tokens on the map.
oh, grand. More friends.
Okay, so the first one to come up is, where is our, I'm pretty sure, it's right at the bottom. Is your name Suni? Suni? How do you say that?
That's close enough.
Sunny? Okay.
Suni.
Suni, alright, well, don't have your token set up yet, of course. We'll get that in a moment. But, okay, yeah, you would definitely turn heads, I imagine, as you walk up there. Please describe what the party sees as you appear on deck.
Suni walks up the stairs drearily, draped in some white cloth with some giant antlers protruding from her head, just like, oh look, it's the sky again. They've kept me down there for so long.
Oh no! Oh no!
Is he like a fawn?
Looks to be some
His
kind
antler?
of fuck, what's the word? Tiefling?
Hey,
Hey,
What is your race, if I may ask?
Seda.
Oh, okay, you're not a tiefling. Interesting. So you have... did I miss that? You have a fuzzy lower half, hooves, and all that jazz?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, just checking. Let me get your names down here, in fact, and you're going to have to excuse me butchering them and asking you for the first couple of sessions here. So, you're a fawn. And what was your class again, if I may? Well,
I went with Bard.
Beautiful. Okay. So yeah, you can see a couple of people come up. This strange being, this Fey Satyr, and then definitely some more mundane. There's an albino dwarf that you guys have seen in Schult. There is a couple of Schultons, and then the last person to come up, kind of blinking into the sunlight, is where is our token? Let's get this down here. Sumi, would you please tell us what they see as your character enters?
Okay, you see a tall, I think she's kind of tallish, half-elven woman, just rubbing her wrists and blinking at the sun. I guess she also looks a bit muscular, and she's just looking around at everything and everything that's going on around here.
Fair enough. And I mean, you do have armor and weaponry and everything that you started off with. It would have been taken from you, but we will say that it was kind of stored nearby, and upon rescue, you and your partner here, you and the other prisoners managed to recover everything that was taken from you when you guys were taken from by the pirates, that is.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, these damn... I don't know what to say about... slavery is extremely hunted and looked down upon here. We can at least find these folks a better place to put in to land. If you are willing to put some work in, we could possibly have you all the way back to Port Nyanzaru. You guys are being told this by the stern-looking captain. Friendly eyes, at least. There's also an elven woman by the looks of it. But she is welcoming everyone that was captured there onto the much tidier ship here. As the one you're on is full of dead bodies and a burning mast.
Not burning anymore, yeah. But
Oh, you put it out. It's just coals.
yeah, we I think Cinder used control flame to put it out. But
Of
yeah.
course, of course. Okay. So, as for... apologize, we haven't been through this in more detail, but for our new Gil and Sumi, you guys were obviously on a ship between the land of Faerun and Schultz. Obviously, a lot of people are coming to Schultz because of the death curse. Information has sprouted that it is coming from somewhere in the Schulten jungle. So this has spawned a lot of adventurers, a lot of expeditions, a lot of money put into people coming to Schultz and Schultz itself. I imagine most likely the reason you guys were here, unless there was another one you had in mind, which is fine, you can think about it and let us know over time. Otherwise, the captain would start bringing you aboard one by one, helping everyone, making sure that you get some salt for your wrists and some rations, some water if you need. As for the ship, I mean, that's something you guys have got to discuss.
Yes, I do believe towing behind is the best idea, but I'm not sure if we should continue on our way or not. We've lost a fair few men.
We got what we
Yeah.
were looking for. We got a ship.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
either
that-
get a ship
okay.
or go to the seer.
Mm.
I guess we go back, take our rewards.
Yeah.
We didn't
Get
actually
paid.
get to the fear though, but maybe we should gain what we can from this.
Thousands of gold? What's not to like?
We should
I'm
also
not saying we
question the
shouldn't,
pirates.
Just saying, considering all our options.
There's still that rogue pirate that's still alive, isn't it? That looks like one of the more higher ups.
Yeah, one of the beefier guys who's probably one of like the captain's bodyguards, that kind of vibe.
Well, perhaps we should question them to see if, well, they have any information about the rest of the pirate crews.
Yeah. Do we want to know more? Do we want to get ourselves in trouble? But fair, yeah, we should
Well, I
interrogate them.
believe it's wise to ask them before we hand them over to the guard force here. Because I do not believe we'll get much information out of the guard force once we hand them over.
Fair. Go
Okay.
ahead, Grill. Interrogate them.
What do you want to know?
Now, I'm gonna walk over nervously because he's not an interrogator guy. Would you please tell us more information about the other pirate crews, please?
Okay, now that Grill asked that, I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts. I can cast that once a day with
Nice.
my telepathy. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it.
So for our 2 new players, there's just a little bit of info that you might want to pass on to the new people here to, because of your unique position of having been on the pirate ship. You've heard a couple of things. You'll find it right at the top under captives info, the top of your journal. And sorry, you
Ooh,
cast
that is-
detect thoughts. So you
Yeah, once a day I can use it.
yeah, you automatically get the surface thoughts, I believe. There is bravado. You kind of push further on into anger, past that into fear. Looking around, as soon as he was asked about the pirates, you can immediately see a bay that he has visited frequently, come in and out of multiple times. Cuts into the rocks on the water. You see a dock. There is a tavern where they gather. Mostly they stay on the ship. A bit of his experiences there, but that's about all you would get for now.
I didn't read this recently. I think I can probe deeper,
Yeah,
right?
and then he has to make a save.
I don't see a reason now. He's tied up.
Alright, you can make a wisdom save. That is a 2. Okay. So, what exactly? You're just looking for information on their location and their base?
I think after like seeing the images of the dock, I would try to see maybe like an image of when he left the base, so I can kind of see more generally where it is, or any information regarding the location. Yeah.
Sure. So they recently just took a ship at the Bay of Schult up here, and they were sailing back from that when they accosted you guys. They usually stay in Jahaka Bay and they rotate in groups of three ships. One patrolling the bay, one doing pirate stuff, and the other in dock, and the people resting. It's a group of 3 ships that have come together under 3 captains.
There's 2 more.
This is important. Well, not in our area. From what I understand, it's like one in the dock itself. I don't know where it is. I'm
So
just
they
being
should
randomly.
both be at Jahaka
Oh,
Bay,
yeah, sorry.
somewhere inside that bay. You're not exactly sure where.
I'll,
So if we go to
I'll
Jahaka
see.
Bay, we'll have to deal with at least 2 more pirate ships. Maybe at the same time. Kind of scary.
Suni, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll stroll over and say, "Are we doing interrogations? Do me next. Do me next."
Wait your
I
turn.
would really like to.
Will?
You can interrogate me. I
Everybody
overheard a
wants
lot
to
of things.
It's true.
I think I'll snap back. Wait, are you willing to talk?
Yeah, you just got to interrogate me first. It sounds like a good time.
I don't
think
know.
Alex is just confused and will just give a push to Grill. I think this is your to do it. You go, robot.
Like to tell us what you know?
Oh yes, that's terrifying. They were always talking about how they didn't like sharing all the money. Something about a portier.
Sorry, that was my bad pronunciation, guide. Portier.
Portier, yeah, that guy. They don't like sharing with that guy.
It's in
No idea who he
Jahaka
is.
Bay.
I don't know. All
It
I
was
heard
like
is they didn't want to share with
visibly
him.
rattling.
What did you ask there, barbecue?
Is that person in Jahaka Bay?
Well, I mean, Portier. Actually, you guys recognize that name. You've heard it before. Not a name, but a surname. Liara Portier. She's actually quite famous. Niece to one of the main lords of, I want to say, Neverwinter. Which is one? Waterdeep. God damn it! I can never remember these places. She is actually the leader of the Flaming Fist here in Schultz.
Oh,
Oh, that's corruption, baby. Lovely.
What's corrupt? What's that mean? You mean free drinks?
Oh, you'll get all the free drinks
No.
you want if you keep telling us information like this.
I like interrogations, they end well.
And you can
As
see,
long as they don't get tricked onto a ship and tied up again.
yeah, well,
Not quickly.
they did also take a fair amount of goods from the other ships that they hit. You do find a bit of stock, stores, provisions in the hold of the ship that you would probably be able to sell if you had the mind to.
Yeah, why not?
But shouldn't we return to the people that it got stolen from? Oh, but then they're probably dead, aren't they?
They are most likely dead, yeah. I mean, these guys could tell you about it. The ship was set aflame. These guys were picked up on the water. You guys watched it. Well, the pirates watched it go into the ocean in the distance. It'll be claimed by Arameg now.
Oh. That's sad. Anyway, we should probably start getting all that stuff onto our ship. The Flaming Fist would take it if he left it on the pirate ship.
Okay. So, and I imagine you want to search the captain's quarters, things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'll use detect magic to scan the area to see if we find anything.
Okay. There are actually two objects that ping from the other ship. As you go looking for these objects, and you come to a little area in the captain's quarters, and there's a little cubby behind the hidden in the wall that you take out a plank to get to, and sitting there is what looks to be a closed wind fan, like that you would fan yourself with, and a little potion with kind of aqua blue liquid inside that's got bubbles constantly floating up from the bottom.
Ooh. Alright.
Okay, so
Hey.
there's goods they've taken from other ships. There's bags and bags of peppers. There's a bit of cinnamon for spices as well. There's crates of cloves, and there's also kind of a great amalgamated sack of jewelry that they've stolen from people. Bangles, rings, bracelets, that kind of thing.
oh wow, it's a rich haul.
There
And we
are-
just need to get it to the port, actually.
so
Yeah, all we gotta do is just get her home. We'll all get paid.
well, you begin
Fortunately,
to...
half of it will be taken by the Flaming Fist.
Yeah, is that on? I actually never considered that. Is that the same if we go by water, or is that different?
I
Because we
don't
didn't
think, I don't
actually
think
go to
that would
jungle.
that wouldn't apply to the open waters. You're not technically on Schultz.
I mean, if we went on the island, I would understand. Yeah, but that was.
Yeah. I mean, they can't try and tax you for taking down pirates. That seems really lame.
That's brand. Sidestep and corruption. Fantastic.
Well,
Okay.
tomorrow I can identify both the fan and the potion if you guys would like. Hey, half girl, half elf. Do you have any information to give out?
Sorry, I
Please
only.
don't make me interrogate you.
I assure you that won't be necessary. I'm afraid I don't know any more than what they already told you. Just that they wanted to cut ties with Portier. I think. And yeah, basically it's just that they're tired of sharing. So I'm afraid nothing new. Didn't hear much more than that.
You do find some documents that back up what she's saying, what both of them are saying, in fact. Notes kind of listing specific ships, knowledge of what's on their ships. It does seem a bit strange.
Well, I believe that we should probably take this back to Wakanga. Bring these two and give them the information about the corruption in the Flaming Fist.
Yeah, but for our safety, maybe let's keep that to ourselves and only give the information out to Kanga.
I agree for right now. Let's keep that sort of information in our pockets, shall we say. Never know when it might be handy.
So
I think we're turning
Sure,
around
head
and
on
going
back
back
and
to the
forth.
port.
Yeah, you're grabbing everything, setting up as much ropes or whatever kind of thicker ropes they would use. I mean, I'm not honestly too clued up on sailing, but you begin to turn around and limp back towards Port Nyanzaru, hoping on the favorable weathers. And you are kind of, what's the word, shadowed for a little bit by the friendly plesiosaurs that cleaned up all the waste of your passing in the sense of bodies. I imagine after, what are you guys doing with the dead bodies? Are you just checking
Yeah,
for
I looted
valuables
them.
and throwing them off the ship?
Yeah, all of them
Yeah.
except for the captain, probably. Don't
Okay,
need-
I would
Very
prevent them
happy.
from looting the soldiers with us.
okay.
Fine, Grill.
They're our
You
friends.
insist.
Well,
I will find
do we find
any
anything on 'em?
mementos of family and, like, I would take their riches but keep them separate so that they can be given back to the families, I should say.
Hey, Grill, that's not fair. You tell us not to loot their bodies, then you do that? You loot them by yourself?
Girl's going to give you a stare.
you can
Be like,
yeah.
this is for the families.
The captain can take that from you and give it over to Wakanga if you'd like.
Thank you.
And you do hear the sounds of these creatures kind of echoing up as you're coming to rest in the first night. Looks like they're following the ships, I mean, which makes sense. They often do kind of follow the fishermen and other. Can you hear the sounds, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. And
Very creepy.
well, for the sailors, it is obviously a sign of land is close, so it's good luck for them. They have a fairly good relationship with the creatures. Some of you obviously creeped out. For some, it's a lullaby singing you to sleep on the rocking waves. Very different tune for the two that have joined us. For all of them, in fact, more than the two. A couple of tradesmen coming back to Port Nyanzaru. One or two people visiting their family, the wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately, just got picked up. But for the other two, I mean, your world's turned upside down very quickly, and you're no longer going to be sold, or whatever other horrible fate may have lain in store for you. You're now heading back to your original destination, so a bit of a detour, but thankfully the people that picked you up seem hospitable. They've given you food, they've given you clothes if you need, and a hammock to sleep under the deck of the ship. It's up to you where you spend your time, really.
It's always good getting adopted by new people. Those last guys weren't too good.
Terminology
Yeah, fair enough.
makes me uncomfortable. I guess the next day I'll go to the same person we interrogated before,
Okay.
and I'll do the same thing. I'll ask him about the. Well, I'm so bad with names. The lady, the flaming fist lady, and I'll use my detect thoughts, trying to probe for any information about him, like anything he knows about the connection between them and the flaming fist.
Okay. So immediately you get kind of fear or worry. It's obviously something that he was trying to keep secret. And let's see, for surface thoughts, Elok hated her, and his captain was very against whatever agreement they had. It was one of the other captains in particular, and I will give you his name in a second. That was the one who was a contact with her, spoke with her, things like that.
Damn it, we got the wrong captain.
If you want to go deeper, you could probably get a bit more info than that.
Yeah, I will try. You can make a save. We have all the days in the world. We're
You see he's like
Yeah.
concentrating, getting a bit of a nosebleed, but he shakes his head and throws you out.
see you tomorrow. Close the door menacingly on him.
So,
I thought these people were nice.
goodness.
Apparently not.
These people
I
like
go hang out
staring
with
at each
Captain,
other
though.
an awful lot.
I drink with them. I bring him some grog.
Who?
Just because you're a prisoner doesn't mean you can't drink.
I mean, he's very grateful. And Captain Laskala is the one with the contact. Here he is, handsome devil. You see his face flash into the mind of the person you're looking into. Why? My handout's showing up.
Yeah, this time it showed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's go.
Okay. You get a flash of his face before you're ejected from his mind. Now, for our new players, you're going to have a couple of days downtime, because obviously it's going to take 4 or 5 days to travel around the peninsula all the way back to Port Nyanzaru. If there's any... Now, it's hard to obviously say this coming into a character right away, but if there's any skills your character wants to work towards that you don't have yet, or if there's a specific downtime activity you'd like to do, sharpening your tools, cleaning your boots, anything like that, trying to learn a new language, you're welcome to think about it and do something in your spare time during the day. Something productive.
I'll learn how to fish.
You learn how to fish. Hey, that's a good one. Sailors will be happy enough to teach you that, as they constantly work to restore their stocks. And fresh food is always, extremely grateful to have at the end of the day.
I know, I've been downstairs this whole time and they never taught me how to do anything fun.
Yeah,
Hey, we tried. I was busy puking, okay?
pretty much the only plus was that they tied you up really tight.
I know. At least they
You're
did
into that.
bring me ale.
Yeah, so but any downtime activity you guys can shout. And yes.
I've
Sumi, go first.
sorry. I think my character. I think she just she'd ask around where she can help. She can lend a helping hand. I forgot to say this the following day, but she would have gone up to the captain and told her, "Thank you for the assistance. I wasn't sure how we were going to get out of there, and if I can lend my services in any way, I'd be happy to help." So I think she'd just be looking for anywhere she can give a helping hand, even if it's just lifting boxes. So
Are you a sailor?
Yeah.
no, but I'm a fast learner.
Are you a man-at-arms?
Yes.
Sorry?
You are wearing armor and you have a long sword and a shield, right? Or like you're very obviously a weapon user.
Yeah, I'm
Then
decked out from head to toe in armor and a long sword. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm a. You can
just
you can
know
assume I'm a
about-
fighter.
Yeah. I mean, this place is a dangerous place. Things will come all the time. If something does, swing at it.
But
Sure.
you,
Okay.
you also do hear the captain
That'll
say,
do more than anything else you can possibly manage.
fair enough.
Even better if you do it with a fishing line. You can tangle them up at the same time.
Learn how to
I
fight
knew
with a
I
fishing
liked you
rod.
for a reason.
Anyways, I'm gonna catch some Z's, and
Sure.
while I'm talking to that guy, can I work on a skill,
Yes.
insight,
Yes.
trying to figure out what he's all about?
So if
Maybe
you,
pick up something.
okay, if you're working towards a skill, you'll be able to roll a d10 for every day of downtime. If anyone else is blank on what they want to do, you guys can also just pick a skill to kind of practice within reason. Obviously, if you're learning something that's a bit difficult on a ship.
Well, what about investigation? Trying to learn something from this captain guy.
I would say investigation you could probably work on.
Okay, sweet.
I'm planning to learn how to use water vehicles.
Nice.
I'm going to continue working on the poisoner's kit proficiency, testing out different methods of making poisons,
Nice.
possibly getting some help from Elixir.
Grill water vehicles. Yeah, you've already gotten a fair amount of progress towards that, I think, is really Trace I've got down here. Okay, so there's going to be a fair amount of days as you travel back, about, let's see specifically, 220. Oh, I remember doing this calcs last time. It's going to be 5 days in total, so there's going to be 5 d10s from everyone that is wanting to work towards a skill. You can go and just roll that from your menu on the left there. And I imagine during this trip, the second day on some, at least, you would be able to identify those items you found.
Okay.
And one of them, I mean, pretty interesting for life on a ship. It is a wind fan.
Ooh.
So yeah, you can hold it and cast the Gust of Wind spell. So it is also not attunement, so you can just pick it up and use it.
Nice.
That's insanely useful for a boat.
The other object, also insanely useful for a boat, it is a potion of water breathing.
Ah, yes, for the people that need to breathe.
It's a backup for the werebore in case, you know, things went awry. Oh,
Okay.
so Alexei's having problems.
who
He'll
wants-
be right back.
Wants to carry that fan?
Well, it is not that useful for me.
It's not that hot outside. You don't really need a fan.
I don't feel the heat.
Hello.
Yep,
Hello.
you're back.
Oh, welcome. Okay. I wanted to say it for the first time. Yeah, because I was talking and I was wondering why no one was responding. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to use two identifiers for the fan, which I saw. I think we already got, and the potion that we got.
Water breathing.
Yeah, it's a water breathing in a wind fan.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm just going to
You want
post
the
in.
wind fan?
There's the effects of Gust of Wind that the fan allows you to cast, just if anyone's interested.
Yeah, somebody should take it. Definitely.
I think
I'll
it's
take it.
either...
Tournament?
Oh,
No, it's not.
Okay, good.
let's rejoin as a player.
I think it's either Dras or Elixir is the best person to use that.
I already have the
Perhaps
one.
one of our
That's
new
like,
friends.
I don't want to be greedy.
Okay. Somebody.
Well,
Dras, would you
Well,
like
if
the
you
wind fan?
insist.
I don't have need for a fan. It's pretty, but I don't know what I'd do with it, other than
Oh, right, you
use
have
as a
snake
fan.
stick.
What was that?
And you have a snake stick as well, don't you?
It is an artifact, but yes.
Snake stick.
She needs more gym badges though. Or
Emergency food.
won't obey it. Alright, so you guys do. I'm gonna put in chat as well the objects. I mean, bags of pepper, well, not just coins, are still very valuable en masse. These ingredients.
Oh, money.
That could
Yeah.
be fun. We can throw that at people.
How big are the bags? So I'll be
I
taking a small one for my utensils, just for.
I've
you know.
got the rough monetary values of them here. The peppers. I mean, god damn. I imagine like 20 kg bags.
I'll be
No,
taking
50.
like 500 grams. I'll take like a single gold's worth of pepper.
It's going to be like an industrial transport bag. They're going to be pretty big. So the peppers there are 5 bags, each of 40 gold pieces. The cinnamon's 2 bags, each 80 gold. The cloves are 10 bags, each 50 gold. So a fair amount. There's also a large chunk of jewelry that you guys took from the pirates.
Was there any magical jewelry in there?
No.
Check it with detect magic.
No, it was like what's on people's pockets and around their necks as they rob people, effectively.
Okay.
I'll be taking, like a single gold's worth of each one, putting into my goose utensils just to have more spices to work with.
No problem.
Because a person that can't eat is the chef.
Curse to leave others to a treasure you can never have.
Yes.
So sad.
Okay, sorry.
He's fine.
Just typing.
He'll be okay.
Some things are in
I'm only
caps.
severely emotional damaged.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, some things are in caps because that's my push to talk. So you're gonna have to work it out your own self with a bit of multiplication there, but it shouldn't be too hard. That's effectively everything of value of the pirate ship. And as you make your way along the mist cliffs, it's for the most part the weather does not fight against you. You are not engulfed in another storm of fury like you were on the way here. For the most part, I mean, those of you experiencing seasickness have probably been on the boat long enough to have completely given everything in your guts up, and you're starting to get used to it at this point and realizing it's actually quite beautiful as you see the morning rituals, specifically out here of the giant Quetzalcoatlus, which do make their daily trek from the mountain all the way out to the ocean to do more fishing. And for our new players who haven't seen these before, because you would have been below deck. Here we go. They have a wingspan of about 10 meters. Huge birds. They kind of fly out to do deep sea fishing and head back into the mountain ranges where they live. Some things are daily for the sailors here, seeing the animals that they kind of point out, some of the fish, some of the birds, the predators that go for them. And it's generally, for the most part, a much more pleasant experience, although you are dragging this limping ship behind you. It's got some sails working on looked like it was a dual mast, so it's still got the front mast up to some extent. But eventually you start to make your way back into the Bay of Schultz, and over the next couple of days, as you live on ship rations, dry cracker bread, salted meats, drinking out of the rainwater barrel, you begin to get into the daily life of the sailors as well. Some of you helping, coiling the ropes, pulling up the sails at night, the various chores that have to be done on a regular basis to keep the running smooth. For the most part, it's a fairly enjoyable journey as you slip in with the groups of merchants and traders that are heading towards Port Nyanzaru and heading back out of the Bay of Schultz. There's kind of a nervous energy that comes over the crew as you come into Arameg's territory, and you guys are those of us that haven't experienced Arameg. You are told of this beast, a giant dragon turtle that lives in the Bay of Schultz, sometimes demanding tribute from a random ship that comes in, on pain of getting your ship destroyed by it if you don't cough up. But you guys have more than enough jewelry to throw overboard if it comes, so you should be fine.
We should be fine. We have 2 ships.
That's what he
Yeah,
looks
we'll
like.
just give him one.
That is not to scale, but that's our friend Arameg. And
To be fair, it's not that far off. How big they are. Fucking huge.
he is a huge fucker, yeah. But now, kind of huddled in the safety of the other ships, you begin to pull into Port Nyanzaru once more. Now, I mean, some of you haven't been here before, so let me just get my short music. As you pull up into the busy docks, hearing the life of the city around you, people laughing, discussing, dinosaurs roaring in the distance, Port Nyanzaru itself is an explosion of color. And you arrive in this tropical city under the blazing sun. For some of you, the familiar sounds, the creaking ropes, the slapping waves, the barrels rolling across the cobblestones, mingle with shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language filled with clicks, inhalations, sing-songy words that make it sound almost musical. The aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruit mixes with the wharfside smells of fish, tar, and canvas, and you see beyond that Port Nyanzaru. An explosion of color, buildings painted in bright shades of blue, green, orange, pink, and the walls all adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles, mythical heroes. It is a very loud place, it is a very friendly place, as the captain starts to call out to some of the dockhands to help secure them, get the secondary ship into place, and take it from there pretty much. Is there anything you guys are doing in particular to prepare yourself as you move over the entranceway into the harbor ward, this great chain, which currently is lowered down into the water to allow ships to arrive?
Well, what is our first goal? To sell all this spice and jewelry, or to see Wakonga first? I think Wakonga is the more pressing matter.
Yeah,
Exploration sounds
we have
so much more.
Yeah, we have time to sell these. I don't think they'll take that. Like, it's not very urgent.
Why not both? We've got enough people here, I suppose.
Yeah.
Some of us can be merchants.
I cannot be. I'm not very good at that. I should be the last person you sent to
I can give it
sell
all
things.
away, and then we can move on. It'll be great.
You could donate it. But
No, I think we could sell it. Yeah, I think I like the selling idea better. I like the suggestions though.
So just a question, Suni, in general, your character, did you come here in regards to the Death Curse, or are you just kind of more a flowing with the wind kind of person?
I got carried away, just going with the flow.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's how I ended up on the ship. They invited me for drinks, and then they tied me up. It was terrible.
And
Oops.
then, is your character's name Nikita?
Yes, that's her name.
Perfect. So, and I imagine that over the time that you've been traveling with these other guys, they most likely would have learnt about a little bit about you in terms that you're a paladin, right?
Yes. I'm a paladin of Solross, I think.
Okay.
Is the deepest
Thanks.
name? Solross? I'm not sure how to pronounce
Yes,
that.
that's right.
Yeah, they also have known I came in regards to the death curse. I felt a calling, you can say, to the place and wanted to come see if I can help in any way.
Perfect.
Will
Okay.
is so happy to have another religious fighter with us.
So yeah, definitely.
What?
Solross, the god, the deity of wizards, divination, fate, and truth.
Yes, yes, how can I say, she is a bit of a, how can I say, she likes to go with her instinct and feels like she believes if sorry, just ignore me, I'll think of the words later.
No problem.
Are you a zealot?
Kind of following your
Or
fate.
demons
And-
better.
No, I'm not a zealot, but I do believe my DT called me here for a reason, so I would really like to help in any way I can. And it is
She's
really
got
nice
one of
to have
those
another
kind
religious person.
callings.
So are you here to end the death curse? Is that what it is, you think?
Not really sure. I kind of just, I don't know. I just thought I could do a better job here. I thought I could be more help here than anywhere else. So I'll see if I can do anything. I'll be glad for that.
Well, the whole world.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, there was
Hmm?
also probably a couple of ailments you most likely could have helped with, because you have that pool of healing. And do you have? You can use 5 points to heal diseases and stuff. Can you do that already?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a pool of.
So I mean, that's amazing.
Hangover
Then-
cures.
No, it's gold lay on hands. It's
Yeah.
paladin's class ability.
Yeah, you can use 5 points of it to basically do a lesser restoration vibe. Also, sorry, those of you doing skill checks, did you? Oh, you did roll. I apologize. I see them here. Let me just jot these down.
Apparently
tying yourself to the fishing
think-
line and jumping in the water is not how you fish.
Wow. What? Are you sure? We have a portion of water breathing if you wanna try that. They are meant to be used. I will use the whole time because I'll be paranoid about like the attack and everything to use mending to try to fix the ship like completely. Like every like it'll single like crack will be fixed
Nice.
throughout the day.
And
So Wakanga can't complain. Yeah.
what proof did you keep of the captain's demise? Did you just keep the body?
We
or-
still have his
Body,
body.
You have his body. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Didn't
then
realize he's dead.
the captain would say, well, then I'm going to go get the harbour master. He's going to want to see this, and you're probably in for quite a nice reward here. Is that face loading for you?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, he's a friend.
You see
We met him before also. We saw
Yeah,
him.
well, you see him again, the golden-scaled dragonborn that runs the harbour down here. Here's a menacing photo of him. This is his headshot he gives out from his agent. And he walks up the ship and looks over to the group. Here we have you to thank in regards to bringing down one of the pirate ships. Elok Jahawan, from what I've been told.
Yes.
Correct.
He was a poor man.
It was easy.
I'm glad it
He
was.
wasn't really. We all almost died.
He
Give us
gives
more
a
money.
dry
You're
chuckle under his
exaggerating a
breath. And, well, regardless, he looks over to the captain, kind of gives him a nod, and you see him gesture. Two people from the dock that were standing there waiting, kind of members of his workforce here, kind of run forward with a coffer. They put it down, they open it, and you see glowing platinum pieces.
How many?
Yeah, we.
This is your reward as advertised for bringing in one of these ships, relatively unscathed. I see at this point the mending's cleared a fair amount of the burn. It is 200 platinum pieces. And for proof of the captain, which I imagine you guys would have showed, an extra bag of 500 gold pieces is handed over.
Yeah.
So
Do we sell the? Are we going to sell those spices?
Yes.
It's like 1,000 gold worth of spices and gold and stuff,
1,000?
jewelry. About 1,000.
The captain,
Was it 500 gold pieces as well?
yeah, 500 for proof of
Okay.
the
Yeah.
captain's
Oh, I've already
demise.
added it.
And 2,000 gold for the ship. But
Oh.
I think that's
that was
platinum.
in platinum, so yeah.
The peppers were for each. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
So do we
Okay.
each get money?
It's in the party week.
Yeah.
we
So
we
do
can
you wanna
split it if you want. If you
See
want to take it.
Captain
We usually
Hikar,
keep
Captain
it in there.
Hikar butts in. So, believe I'm owed at least some for transporting all these stolen goods back for you to sell at the market.
Sure.
I will hand over 100 platinum.
Oh,
Unless
100
anybody
platinum?
stops me.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
it.
everybody stop you.
Make
Stop
an
you.
initiative roll,
What are you
because she
thinking?
wants that platinum. Yeah, I'm just joking.
A share. Sure.
Okay, she's
what
not...
what would be
Yes?
what would be the like appropriate amount usually splitting around
Sure.
like?
I mean, 1,000 honestly
would not have
does
done
sound
this.
fairly appropriate. She risked her ship with the pirate attack.
We literally could not have gotten it back without her.
Yeah,
Because
but we
none of
also
us can
did all the
ride
killing,
one
though. We
drive
did a
boats.
lot of the killing.
She did a lot of the
Don't
killing.
she?
She dove into battle as well.
Yeah?
I mean, no one would be able to kill the lycanthrope. I can't say that word.
I was dealing
like,
with some
from
damage
us.
that lycanthrope. That captain.
Yeah,
I was
that's the
blasting
only
him left and
person.
right.
Hey, my one was helpful too. We all fight about who could kill.
Well, I
could have
mean,
killed
she's
him.
not going to force an amount from you. However much you
Yeah,
feel
we give
her
her a share.
services are worth, you can do that. How much do you
Okay,
give
I'll
her?
let
'Cause I want to
Grill.
write that down.
Grill is
Yeah,
going
sure.
to give over the 100 platinum.
Yeah, I'll
Dude,
agree
no,
with Grill. I'll say, you know what, that's okay.
100 platinum. Are you kidding me?
Wait, how much is a
Have
platinum?
you
Platinum
an
drive
idea of
10
how
gold.
much that is?
10 gold pieces.
So it's 1,000
That is
gold.
Yeah.
1,000 gold.
Some
We would
gold.
have
Oh.
1,000 gold, and he's offering to give her half of it.
Sorry, I had the
total,
transaction
you guys
off.
would,
Okay.
you guys would walk off with like between 3,000 and 4,000 gold from all of this. So
Mhm.
1,000 gold could be a fair share. Depends how you look at it.
My view is we literally could not have gotten this without her, so.
So I
mean,
would
not-
say give
yeah, but-
her equivalent of 500 gold.
There we
Yeah,
go.
okay.
50
I thought platinum was like 2 gold each. I had the transaction wrong. Yeah.
At 10 gold.
Okay.
That's Electrum you're thinking of.
No, it's good.
Ah,
We don't
okay,
play with
thank you.
Electrum. So is that 500 gold? The final.
Yeah,
offer?
that would be 50 platinum.
She will take that gratefully and bow to her head to you, and
And Grill's going to hand over all of his personal gold. He feels bad about only.
Okay.
It's not much, but he feels bad.
how much is that?
It's only 9 gold, but still.
After Grill gives him her share, I cast detect thoughts. I want to see what she feels, how she feels about us. I'm not gonna probe, so just want to know the general feelings.
She can see you casting that, right?
It's I don't know. It's
so
like it's innate.
Your components is nothing on that. Detect thoughts.
Is it
It's
verbal?
it's
or
an
somatic?
innate
It's from
ability.
telepath.
It's from my.
It's an innate
this-
ability that allows you to cast that spell. I don't know. Does it say without the components? Does it say-
No spell slot components. Yeah. It's just it says no
Oh,
components or
yeah.
spell slots.
no
It's
components.
a
So
feat. It's a feat to
Yeah,
hide a spell,
yes.
though.
You just become a psychic with the telepathic feat. Normally, it would be casting the spell, but
Yeah, I mean, if she can see me cast, I wouldn't do it. But
no,
I
she
feel
can't
like
because there's
from
no
where-
there's no verbal, there's no somatic, there's no material. You're not doing anything. Maybe
Oh,
like
there's
a
no verbal or somatic?
yeah. It says you cast it without components.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Satisfaction. You feel satisfaction. She feels
Oh, okay, good.
satisfaction.
Oh, are we
Um,
giving people things? I'll be back. And then I'll run over and give her the fishing rod. Here you go.
give her own fishing rod that she used to train.
That you probably got off this ship.
Yeah.
She feels comfortable and she's excited to get paid from Okanga.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I won't probe anything, so she doesn't know I'm
Okay.
digging in her mind.
She shakes your hand. Thank you. If you have any more trips, especially ones that are going to be this profitable, don't forget to call on me. All right. Next
I
time
do
think.
believe we're heading out again in not that long. We're just here to drop off the supplies and talk to Wakonga about things we'll find.
Yeah.
We'll most
Indeed,
likely see you later on this afternoon.
we didn't even make it to the seer, so we'll be needing your services soon.
Well, stay in dock for a bit. The men are going to go have a drink, but I'll get the ship restocked and ready for to be gone in a hurry. And with that,
Alright.
you guys head off the ship. You get wagons organized to cart all your goods to market. I imagine the first thing you want to do is kind of get rid of all the stock, so you don't have to carry it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Get rid of
So for
the honestly stupid amount of stuff we have in the bags.
and then as you enter into the city, then kind of most of the people filing off to their respective places. You know, the people you rescued getting back to their family or their traders. The two new players at this point, I imagine you guys have, during the time here at least, had a bit of a chat. It seems like the Paladin's general direction does align with you guys. And I don't know if you would... It seems at this point that it might be a bit difficult to get rid of Suni. He's like kind of stuck to the group.
I mean, murder is always on the table now.
But
Will is just happy to have more friends.
fair enough.
Sure.
For the two of you guys, it's a very interesting trip into the city. It's busy, you're pushing past people, trade is going, you have to stop as you get out of the harbor ward, as you hear thundering steps breaking the silence here. People begin to quickly file to the edges of the walkway to make way. And you guys are familiar with this, you are quite aware there's going to be probably some dinosaurs thundering through here in a race soon, and you pull aside Suni and Nikita as you guys see this looks like a no-holds-barred race, and blood flying as the Triceratops and Allosaurus are ridden past you, the crowd cheering as a couple of late runners coming after them trying to catch up. And as soon as they're there, they're gone in a cloud of dust that is enveloped by the crowds, closing the gap once more, and life continues.
Oh yeah, we have dinosaur
Right.
races here.
By the way, yeah.
They don't get run over by that.
Like it.
And as you are traveling, you would make your way over to the Grand Souk, this kind of large tent with all the traders underneath. You find everything here, from weapons to trained animals for sale, poisons, plants, you name it. You've been brought up to date, the new players, you've been brought up to date with the basics of Shulton life. They will tell you things like buying insect repellent and rain catchers and things like that to help you if you intend to go into the jungle, so don't stress about that. But for the meantime, are you guys doing anything besides selling your goods?
Yeah, I also divvy out gold and platinum. Everybody gets 200 gold and 20 platinum.
Okay, is this
Right
a
now.
combination of
Well-
all the pepper, cinnamon, cloves, and everything, and the jewelry?
No, this is just the gold and platinum that we have already.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, it's in the party loot, so it's available
If
for
you want-
everybody.
yeah, if you
So
want to
I'm gonna-
take
I'm
out
gonna-
yours, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take out.
just tell
Everybody's
us.
gonna get a share. 200 gold and 20 platinum right now.
That's fine. Yeah, I usually just keep it on the party sheet because I don't mind. I think we should use it like as a group.
Oh yeah, we
But-
have.
oh,
have
my
money
main
still
thought
in
is-
there. It's just that so everybody has some walking around money.
I'll take the share.
200 gold and 20 platinum.
200 gold, 20 platinum.
Will puts it right back into the fucking party loot.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
All the need
Selling-
material goals.
Selling everything that you found in terms of the cloves, the cinnamon, the peppers, and the jewelry would net you what looks to be
551 gold.
1,081?
Yeah, it was around 1,000.
Yeah,
I remember that.
1,081. 10 boxes of
Alright.
boxes of cloves at 50 gold apiece.
All the
I
cloves and cinnamon were 50 each.
forgot
That's
to
what-
write each. Apologies. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty lucrative supplies. And I mean, you obviously didn't purchase them, so you're not. You know, it's all profit for you guys.
I guess I'll turn to the party and ask. So, what are we thinking? Should we share the information with the fire, like about the fire fist corruption, with Wakanga, or do we wanna keep that a secret for now?
I think it's best to give that information to Wakonga.
All right. Is that
I agree, but does anyone else disagrees? Do we wanna?
I think that it's best to keep at least some information for ourselves. If
Yeah,
nothing else, we might be able to sell it in the future.
I'm not a big team player with the government here, if you haven't noticed.
Well,
So
my
I'm good
thought
with
is
that.
this. If we tell Wakonga about the corruption, he might be able to do something.
Yes, but also remember what I believe one of the previous merchant princes told us to be wary of everyone.
Wise advice.
We don't know how far this corruption goes. Just saying.
Truth
How
is,
much are we
everybody's
telling
really out just
Wakonga?
for themselves. That's how it really is.
Well, I'm not. Girl looks quite insulted at that.
I'm just saying, you're fighting a storm that you're not going to win, or fighting a battle you're not going to win. This is
Well, at least I
Chult
can try my hardest.
now.
I guess if we wanna like set aside both sides, if we wait a day, I have an ability to see what people feel, how people feel about certain things.
Like what?
Like if we tell him the information, if he's angry about it, if he's happy about it, like how he's feeling about it. If we wanna gauge if we can trust him or not.
If you do not want to tell them all the information, I suggest we tell them that the pirates have a connection with the Flaming Fist, but not who.
Okay, well, while you guys decide this, sorry to interrupt, but I'm in dire straits here. I'm drinking too much energy drink. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Should we take our halfway break here? Does anyone else want to get coffee
Okay.
or anything?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Sure.
So we'll say 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, and then we'll see you guys back here.
All right.
Where's the kettle?
The party of neutrals.
That one captain said she's good with it if we wanted to go again.
That lady likes
And I
money.
did have to go and apologize for not saving all of his men that were sent with us.
You
Okay.
did good. We saved most of them.
No, we saved none
We
of the
saved
soldiers.
one. No, we saved
Okay.
literally one.
Well,
Yeah.
one that
And that's
died.
because he didn't get into combat.
Oh, and one
They're all
laser person.
fucking dead.
Mm.
All right. So, welcome back, everyone. Do we have everyone back? Looks like.
I'm here. I don't know.
I didn't see anyone muted besides Drace. Okay.
I'll be gone for like 30 seconds. I just need to grab something.
All right.
But you can continue. I'll still be able to hear you.
Did you guys want to? What was the next step after selling all your goods then? It is. We'll say you arrived.
Oh, yeah.
Just before midday, so you're going to be looking at about 11 a.m. The sun is up today. It is hot, bright. What's going on?
We want to find out when that captain is willing to set sail again.
We need to talk to Wakanga first. Not even like we don't
well.
have to tell him, but we should.
Don't tell him what you're going to tell him, but I'm going to go tell that captain that we're going to set sail again soon. As soon as
Yep.
she can be ready.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
She'll probably be done if you. It's going to.
Resupplying the ship,
a bit
fixing
extra.
stuff, all
Yeah,
that.
the men are going to be sad to not have a night on land with, a bit of fun in the tavern and a girl on their lap, but that's fine. They will get paid something extra to carry up back to the ship, and she'll sort it out.
Sweet. How long does she say?
Let's see. Well, it's already midday, are you wanting to make all haste? Because you prefer not to sail at night. I mean, if all things considered, you probably prefer to wait
So
till
tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning would be best, yeah.
Tomorrow morning. Good.
That's fine.
We'll be there.
So here's Wakanga or Tamu's villa, the merchant prince that you guys are basically. He is basically your patron at this point, as he helps you with information and resources in an attempt to also rid the world of the death curse, which all of the merchant princes are trying to actively work, well, most of them, as far as you're aware, don't actively work towards. Alright, so you're going to go visit him. You also have rooms there if you need them, otherwise there are a plethora of inns and taverns around the city.
And get my night of rest.
Yeah, I think-
also had a question for the proficiencies. Would I have been able to gain the Poisoner's Kit proficiency? We're
Nope.
still working on it.
With about another hour or two, you would probably be able to get it. You're 2 points away, so we'll say you could have mastered it on the last day before you got here.
Okay, in that case, I probably, when we were at the market, I would have probably picked up a kit.
Perfect.
I guess we go to
Buy
Akanga.
a few things. Oh, can we buy a few things?
You can buy whatever you
Yeah.
like at the market. You have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's just see here. So things that are pretty
What damn
unusual,
impulse.
things that are pretty unusual that you can buy. Where is it in particular? Just off the bat, a +1 shield costs 450 gold pieces. A one made of wood and bone. A +1 dagger costs 500 gold pieces, and this is from the weapons dealers in relation to Akene Afa, the merchant prince that deals in weapons and shields and such. You know that there is a connection to Wakanga Tamu there. She does get it enchanted through him, but Wakanga doesn't sell outright weaponry. He sells more potions, scrolls, the odd artifact. There's also beasts you can buy.
Scrolls.
I will post a list of beasts here for you, from flying monkeys to triceratops. There
We
are.
could buy flying monkeys and give them beads of fireball.
Please. No.
Suicide bombers.
Suicide monkeys are not on the table. Not right now.
Somehow you think this will end well. They'll just end up fireballing us.
Yeah, and somehow you're the lawful good character. Sure.
Oh no, that's not real. That's me.
No, in real life, I'm like chaotic evil.
I am a chef, so you know.
Alright.
So I'll put some.
We do some crazy theories.
Here's more prices for you of other things that are purchasable.
I kind of have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
How do you craft potions? Because I have like a proficiency with an alchemy kit, but I don't know if that's related or like alchemy supplies.
That's the one.
So I could do that on my downtime. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Uh,
Requires
I
a,
think you
It
need
is
it for
expensive, though.
half the price.
it costs 25 gold worth of materials and day of work.
I'll consider that on this trip.
Very
Maybe I'll buy the supplies or something.
Alright, so here we are at the Merchant Prince's Villa. As everyone kind of tapers off, it is now just the 6 of you. You are allowed past the guards as they recognize you, plus a few new faces. You meet up with, in the same kind of lounge where you always meet with the Merchant Prince. Let's get a handout for those of you who haven't met him yet. Okay. There we are, Wakanga Tamu, Merchant Prince of magic and the arcane, potions and scrolls and that kind of business. He gestures for you all to sit down as he was already there in the lounge, kind of enjoying some tea and listening to some music that is coming from a minstrel in the corner. He nods to, and they bow and kind of file out the room as you enter. He stands up. Ah, my intrepid explorers. was given news that the sea spray had returned to Port Nyanzaru, and with another ship in tow, I am told.
Yes,
Yes,
we managed
booty.
to take down one of the pirate crews.
The Dragon Fang, a good ship, made for speed, an interceptor, a worthy ship. I am quite impressed with what you have accomplished. So it looks like you have captured this, and I imagine with the amount of time you've been gone, you have not reached your destination. Looks questioningly.
No,
not yet.
we just needed to get it off our hands more than anything else. And I'm sorry, but
We were crippled
all but one of your
carrying
guards died.
that treasure.
This is...
These are good
weighs
problems.
heavily on me. I am sad to say I fairly underestimated the troubles you would face out on the waters. Next time, if I am to provide guard, rest assured there would be seasoned warriors.
I should have done better to keep them alive as well.
Their families will be compensated, and they will be given places of honor.
I will hand over whatever little trinkets the people had on them, the guards that died, just as figures for the family.
Okay, kind of, bit awkwardly, you can tell that for all his good intentions, coming face to face with kind of the real results of his actions or misactions is kind of shaking him a little bit for the first time that you've seen. He's usually quite a calm person, composed. But he takes this and puts it down on the table, and kind of you see him glancing down at it every now and again. And you visit to tell me of your travels, or is there something else we need to discuss?
We also wanted to introduce you
Alexei.
we also wanted to introduce you to our two new companions. Sumi, no, how I don't. Yeah, Suni and Nikita.
Nikita and Suna.
Oh yes, Sun.
Suni.
I will forget your
Ciao.
names. I'm sorry.
Nice to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you.
Well,
These lounges are really comfy.
I am glad you enjoy them. Kind of looking over it is not often we get someone from of the Fey variety. How long have you been in our world, if I may ask?
Many moons now. I just randomly showed up in a town and then got invited onto a ship recently. So I haven't been here too long, but it's all been very entertaining.
He nods.
Being a slave on a ship.
If the Fae have a very strange idea of what is entertaining. I have learnt this a while ago. Regardless, you all seem adequate in your own ways, kind of looking at the short sword, looking at the horns coming out of your head. As long as...
I charge straight first into fun.
Well, as long as you trust them, and they are going to be an asset on your original journey, which is to try and find some sign of the death curse. What is your intentions now?
But first, well, we do plan to
Oh.
get to the sphere, but we plan to take out the rest of the pirates first, I think. Make the waters a bit safer.
Not only that, perfect idea of finding a death curse would be finding a pirate base. There might be some intel there.
That is true.
The pirates would not have
Do you
ever
really
gone
think so?
inland into the jungle. I disagree with that notion, but it is possible.
Well, they do gather a lot of
Place
people,
to start.
and with a lot of people,
Plus
that
it
is information.
He nods.
It would give us a port on the other side of Chult, which would be useful at the very least for exploring the interior.
And the people of Schult would definitely appreciate making the trade routes the slightest, quite a large bit safer, in fact. It's the main, besides Aramek, the main worry of the traders at the moment.
Definitely.
Anyone we could deal with that dragon turtle.
For a jewelry to him.
That might be a little much. I don't know if we could be taking
No,
on
I
a
mean,
dragon
if we
turtle,
could
but
lead it to a different location, or
They're not.
To go somewhere a bit more profitable for it. I heard Waterdeep
There's
is nice
nothing
this year.
profitable about death. That's the.
The creature
That is
was
sheer death.
here before Port Nyanzaru, and it is its rightful home.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
There's always
Wait
the
till we have
suggestion
a
of
fleet.
feeding the amulet to the dragon turtle as well.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's not do that. One breath
Sounds
and the whole
scary.
party is toast. Yeah, screw that.
So you intend to travel over the ocean again once more?
Yes.
Yes, we've already spoken to the captain of your ship.
We leave tomorrow morning.
I'd suggest you get a good night's sleep and make sure you have everything you need. It sounds like you are in for quite a tough journey.
Mm-hmm.
Whenabouts are you going to speak to the families of the guards that died?
You know what? I'm gonna make a ghost. What do you call it? A go bag, just in case we ever have to leave or abandon the ship.
A what?
Go
Sorry.
bag?
A go bag, something that has like rations, stuff to survive on. If we get stranded in the on the beach somewhere on Chult, we may have to go into the jungle.
Yeah, we just need to
We
kill
should
one
have, like,
dinosaur.
We
fair.
should have equipment to be able to survive that. If
Roll
that
opens up his chest. There's like a bag in there. I already have one.
happens. Okay.
But yes,
Good idea.
Rapunka. Whenabouts are you going to speak to the families of the guards that died?
I'm not gonna.
If it's when we're still here, I would like to join you to apologize to them.
This is not necessary. I was the one who hired them. But if it is your wish, then I will not stop you.
I will not delay our departure, but if there is the chance.
He nods.
What, early in the morning?
Well, you are welcome to use the guest rooms. Make yourself at home at least. You have a long trip. You shall definitely be away from port for many weeks where you are going. He kind of nods. I have further business to attend to, but please, my servants will know where to find me. He bows. You guys know where the guest rooms are. They are the set of rooms here. And yeah.
Retire.
Well, you've got
Yeah, I guess we'll
the
just-
whole afternoon. If there's anything you want to do in particular, get a drink or buy anything or anything else.
To make potions, do I need to buy like certain
Like
like
old weapons.
ingredients?
Yes.
Ingredients of like 25. So I'll buy 6 times 25,
Okay.
right? So 150
150, yeah.
gold worth of ingredients to just start making potions, one for each of us.
Nice.
I'm taking it off
I
the
was wondering
partnership.
if there were ingredients to make a poison. Perhaps, I don't know, Yanti poison or I don't know what would be local other than that.
I'll see what I can find.
Just
for you.
basic.
You would be looking for some of the stalls from Jessamine, who deals in plant poisons. Let's see here. So, I mean, there is a lot of poisons for sale. Depends what you're looking for. Contact, ingested, inhaled, or injury, which can be applied to weapons and ammunition.
I think looking for injury.
Okay, and what kind of budget do you have in mind? Because there's a variety of poisons. You're looking at, let's at least say you're looking at about, if you wanted to make this, about 100 gold pieces for enough poisons, poison ingredients that could be turned into serpent venom.
Alright. That seems fine.
A single dose of serpent, and if you wanted to buy serpent venom, it would cost you 200 gold pieces, and harvested from, you would be told it's made of bits and pieces that are harvested from giant poisonous snakes, and creature subjected to the poison, you need to make a DC 11 con save or take 3d6 poison damage.
Alright. If there are ingredients to purchase for that, then I'll just do that instead and try and make my own.
Yeah, so I thought we'll do it just kind of the same way as the potions. You buy like half the gold's value of ingredients.
Right.
And there's a couple that you can make here as well. There's a whole list depending on what you want to go for. I'm not sure. What I'll do is I think I'll just send you the whole table, and you can see which ones interest you and work towards those.
Probably the serpent venom, like, actually is most appropriate.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But there's definitely stronger ones, like purple worm poison, but that's like 2,000 gold pieces.
Oof, yeah.
Only 2,000? Oh my god. We got this. We got enough. Go for it.
Alright. And yeah, there's a variety of ingested and inhaled and other contact stuff, but anything else you guys want to get done this day in preparation?
I buy scrolls.
You can buy scrolls. What scrolls do you
Yeah.
want?
To expand my spell list for my wizard spell book.
You see the prices there?
Where is it?
It's 80 gold for a first level, and then it jumps up to 450 gold for a second level.
Yes, small jump.
Ooh. Okay.
You can take from the
Still
party sheet as well, because I'm pretty sure me and Grill share the money with the whole party, if you want.
Okay, sweet. I need
Roll
money
does
to
not
get a
need-
second level spell.
Yeah, just don't spend all of it.
I won't spend it all.
Okay. And so for our new characters, if there's anything you're interested in, it's pretty early on, I know, for to think about what your characters might need at this point, but you do have the whole market available to you. If there's something you think about later on, you're fine to buy it retroactively. I don't want to put you on the spot.
How is Nikita's armor?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same thing.
That's a good question.
If you're the frontline, we should have a good one.
I think I'm pretty good. I've got it's chainmail, so chainmail, and I've got a shield, so I think I'm pretty well protected for
Chainmail.
frontline. I hope.
I mean, to increase that, you could go to Splint for 200 gold pieces, which would give
Yeah.
you 1 more AC.
Plate would be
Okay.
a pretty big jump, but Splint is pretty
That's
reasonable if you want.
Splint. Just to
increase your AC by
clarify. Sorry.
Increase your AC by 1 if you have, and you have to have 15 strength.
You got that.
What
You
is
might
that?
have a
Your strength 16.
Oh yeah, I have that. So just to make sure, when you said you everyone in the party, did you mean us new guys as well when we got money?
Yes, everybody got it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it's fine and we've got the
200
time, then
gold, 20 platinum.
So that's 400 gold, yeah?
okay. 400 gold. Okay, thanks. Then how much did you said it would cost to increase my armor, my AC?
Well, it's 200 gold.
200 gold.
200 gold pieces to buy the Splint, but you could hand in your chainmail for half of its value.
So you would get
Let's see here. So you would
45.
end up paying 155 gold. So
I could use
what's
some
this?
new clothes and a
I'm
shield.
gonna say splint. It's a splint. Splint armor. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
just
Splint would be a good buy.
checking.
yeah, no,
1 to 17, 200 gold, 15 strength disadvantage on stealth. The same armor as girls
Ah.
wear.
Yeah, I've got a disadvantage with chainmail anyway. So I think I'll do that. I'll trade the chainmail and pay less. How much did you
Perfect.
say it?
So
How much would it cost then?
you can add to your
155.
character sheet 245 gold. That's what you would have remaining after the transaction. So just above, you can see where all the little coin pieces are. You've got 25 gold. You can just change that to 170 is what you would have now, I think.
And how's Dross's armor going? More quickly.
Okay.
Whatever.
How do I get?
Uh,
How do I?
What's that, Nikita?
Oh,
So,
I'm just wondering if
just
Will.
sorry. I think I figured it out. I just wanted to. How do I get rid of the chainmail and stuff? But I think I figured it out.
Okay. You can in the top right on the icons in Roll20, the eye with the circle, the compendium. You can type in there splint, and when you see splint come up in the search bar, you can just left click, drag that onto your character sheet, and should automatically add it on and change your AC to the appropriate number.
Okay,
I'm just
got it.
wondering if
Thanks.
Cool. What you saying, Grog?
Dross keeping all of her AC additions. She does have the +1 shield and the +1 from me.
Oh yeah. That's Drace, eh? You saying?
Yeah, Sherry.
I don't think I caught the first half of that. So
What's your AC?
Oh, what my AC is? Let's see.
17?
It says 17, I believe, because of the +1 shield and
+1 for me as well, don't forget.
Yeah.
Cool, just double checking.
Right.
How much does the rapier cost?
The
I think
rapier is
I'll
25
just go
gold.
shopping around some studded leather armor and a shield for now. That'll do.
Sure. Are you looking for any kind of shield in particular? They do have a lot of dinosaur bone shields, wooden shields.
Ooh, anything that would make a good drum?
Yeah, you can find that. Definitely.
A hollow shield so I can bang on it and have fun.
You seem like you have fun no matter what you do. Don't worry.
Enslaved?
Should we buy
just
bug spray and stuff?
Yeah, so it's a one gold piece for a chunk of insect repellent wax that will last you 20 days. 24-hour uses.
Okay.
And you
I
guys
think
are...
I'll do that.
Sure. You guys are going out in the open ocean, so you're going to have barrels of rainwater and collected water, basically, for you to drink from, so you guys don't have to worry so much about rain catches out on the ocean, at least. Because
We also have the jug of alchemy. I don't
that's
think
true.
we...
You are told about the various lovely things that can happen to those who do not boil the water or drink from the rivers here. Things like throat leeches, shivering sickness, mad monkey fever. The list goes on. The jungle is a very dangerous and inhospitable place.
My
Nice.
favorite thing in the world. There's a very rare item called a fish suit.
A what? A fish suit?
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's one of the best names for an item.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go though after all the shopping.
Mm.
Can I get a flying snake?
I think we're not ready to go. That's actually a good idea. Can we get 6 of them, one for each? No.
I mean, it's
What are we
it's your
to
money.
do with them?
Well, they're
Pet
they're
them.
trained, so they are actually fairly. They're not intelligent.
Oh.
They're loyal. They've got a 2 intelligence. They're loyal, and they're actually used by certain organizations to carry messengers, like messenger pigeons.
Message in
Alright.
snakes.
That could actually be pretty useful.
Not
We need to get a message out to somebody.
If a snake is trying
That's
to
actually a bad
chase me
idea.
with a letter, I would run away. I'm not taking that letter. I'm running. But whatever.
Right?
Different cultures, different worlds, I
Imagine
guess.
Hogwarts without owls, but instead flying snakes.
Yeah,
Owls of nature's slowest flying birds, remember.
yeah.
So they're not that bad. They have 60 feet flying speed, 30 feet swim speed, and 30 feet crawl speed. Yeah, and blind sights are 10 feet.
If we get a flying monkey, is it gonna be like the one we saw with the hag lady,
Nanny Poo Poo?
or is it? Yeah, or are they gonna be not rotting? Because
They're
hers were
definitely not
kind of.
going to be rotting. These ones are going to be at least well taken care of.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
They are
Consider it.
trained, so they do have basic trainings that can respond to very simple commands. The flying monkeys, just want to see what their intelligence level is, because I believe they were quite much smarter being primates. Intelligence 5, in fact.
There we go.
So they can understand much more much complexer commands.
Racist towards snakes.
Monkey bit snake. Okay.
Well, that's fighting words here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would take you to the Grand Souk, and you would see kind of a menagerie set up on the side so as to have some space for the creatures there. There is definitely a kind of general practices for the care of animals, and you can see the animals are pretty well tended, well fed, and yeah, definitely worth the prices being asked for them. And keep in mind the other cheapest option, 100 gold for a Hadrosaurus. They're more beasts of burdens. That's effectively what your jungle horse would be here. I'll get you a handout.
Yeah, I was surprised that nobody went after the Hadrosaur. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a pretty
I'm too
big,
heavy.
animal there that we could use.
I was thinking we should get that, but I think bring him on the ship and stuff. I think that's just gonna be more a burden.
Yeah, if we're
How-
going
After,
to
after we
we're going to
after we
ship.
go.
Yeah.
In
After
the
we go,
jungle,
like
it would be
the next
great.
expedition. Yeah, if we go in, that's what I thought. I thought if we go on an expedition that is like actually in the jungle, maybe, but like on the ship is gonna. I think it's gonna be more like
Fair
instead
enough.
of a beast of burden, it will be just a burden. You know.
Just pool in for the Triceratops.
That's the Hadrosaur.
Mm.
Okay. So have we got any concrete purchases here for animals?
Yeah, I'm gonna purchasing the supplies to be able to cast Find Familiar.
That's fine.
That's not an animal, but yes.
Going to be.
I'll get a flying snake.
Okay.
Ooh.
Very nice. Anyone else?
Not yet. Maybe in the next expedition.
So I found this really cool, for your homunculus, there's a Magic the Gathering card called Baleful Strix, and it's like an artifact owl.
Yeah, I saw it. It's a really good art.
Yeah, right.
liked it.
Yeah, I'll post it in Discord because it looks really cool. Yeah. Alright.
It's very cute.
Well, I mean, that's one.
Is that an option for a familiar?
Oh wow.
Now, he's got a homunculus that is from his Artificer
Infusions,
Oh.
yeah.
fusions, yeah. Yeah, you guys are a traveling menagerie, it seems, picking up creatures left and right.
Yeah. Soon the whole jungle will be ours.
We have a flying snake from Drace. Was there any other purchases here? Alright. Going once, going twice.
Sold
They're
for the...
always here when you get back. You've had the night to sleep. You've had the day to shop. You are well rested, pampered. You are given a luxurious feast at Wakanga Otamu's house, as he would ask you to regale him with some of the tales you've had on your trips around Schultz, especially interested in the Eldani Basin. Interested in the Eldani Basin. Interested in well, let's see here. You got a couple of arcane users here. Elixe, Artificer, and Cinder, you're a wizard, right?
Yes, I'm a wizard.
Okay.
You're a
Invoker.
wizard, Harry.
I just Deus Vault myself to magic.
Whatever a bard counts as.
Oh wait, sorry, what was that?
Oh, I said I Deus Vault myself to magic.
Not talking about religion. Just want to get my notes open here because there would be some.
Religion.
As he's talking to you and you guys are kind of finishing up your supper for the night, he would go and one moment. I've got something that maybe some of you are pointing towards, kind of Elixir and Cinder would find most interesting. And he goes, he comes back with a book. You guys would recognize this as a spell book.
Ooh.
Wait, sorry, is this a spell book? Did I read that
Cinder,
wrong?
this is for you.
It is, sorry, it is not
Just
it is
steal
not a
it.
spell book, but he says it is the Journal of a Wizard.
Oh.
And it is tattered, it is water damage. This was brought out of the jungle about 15 years ago. Today it describes a wizard's explorations of the various places in Schult, but not in enough detail to locate them on a map, so to speak. The unnamed wizard does, however, make many mentions of his only traveling companion, a shield guardian by the name of Vaughn.
It has a name?
According to the journal, which I have not much use for in these times anymore, and seeing as you are finding yourself heading into the jungles of Schult, it might be of use to you. I can show you on our map where roughly the journal was found.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
It shows pictures, and he shows you, flaps over the journal, shows you to the page where it is. Let's just see if I have a picture I can accompany that with. One moment. It shows pictures of the creature's control amulet, which is lost somewhere in the jungle, but if found, would be able to bring a creature of immense power into our use. I am looking to contain this, to obtain this relic, this artifact. If you manage to find the beast and its amulet in any way, know that I would reward you very handsomely.
Cinder,
Mhm.
do you think you can learn locate object? Think that would be useful here.
Yeah, that might be useful.
You need to actually
Yeah, I definitely
know
can.
the object.
If you were to locate it, I mean, I'm sure we could do a trade, but I am more than happy to give you the spell book that was found with the journal. It is got quite interesting magics within.
Let's see it.
We don't have to see the object, right? Describe or name an object that is familiar to you. If we read a full book about it or something like that, or
Yeah,
if we hear read a book, I'm sure we
you've
can.
been shown pictures of it.
Yeah. Let's
and I
see
can cast
what
it.
about that spell book though.
Oh wait, you can cast it, Grill?
Yeah.
Oh, psst, Cinder, Grill can cast it already. You don't need to
Right.
spend like 450 gold on it.
Oops. So I'm gonna have to. This spell book contains 15 spells of varying levels. There is not
Ooh.
necessarily a level cap. It is going to be determined randomly.
Wish, no.
But he's not giving it to you now. This is, for helping him out with the Shield Guardian.
Oh, this is what we would get for the Shield Guardian.
Well, this is what you personally would get. He is willing to reward you guys personally for your efforts here.
Big as Cholt.
It's pretty big, but he is going to show you roughly where the journal was found. That was... Hold on. My map takes forever to load.
That could be correct.
It would be here. Somewhere around here.
Okay. The River Taff.
On our way, anyways.
Well, when we get to Jahaka Bay, I can cast Locate Object.
That's not gonna be nearly close enough. It's only
63
100,000.
miles. Wait, how
Yeah,
how
it's
big is
1,000
each
feet.
hex?
7 miles.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get
Oh,
way. I
7
mean, you can
miles,
cast
yeah,
it. You can cast it to make sure if it's like in the bay, but it's not gonna be very
Yeah.
useful unless we get closer. I think. Like we have to.
Yeah, if you find some temple and you cast it and you detect it's in there, that's totally
Annihilation.
possible.
What? Sorry.
1,000 feet.
Yeah, 1,000 feet's a ways, but it's not forever. So
Oh, fuck no. It's only like 1.8 miles.
it's not even a mile.
Yeah.
1,000
Yeah.
feet, 5,000 feet is a mile.
1,000 feet. Yeah, 1,000 feet's
Five-
not a mile.
Yeah, 5,000 feet is 5,000 something feet is a mile.
I don't speak fetish, and I'm not. I don't have feet fetish. Okay, I speak meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Like a
Same.
normal person.
300 meters,
Oh, it's 300 meters.
something like
That's
that.
not very. That's
That's
much.
not a lot.
Nothing.
Nope.
That's like my way to work, not even that.
Yeah, but it's a ways. It's not.
Yes, just like
Yeah.
not a whole.
Point us in the right direction.
Yeah.
Uh,
If we're at the tomb where it's at or whatever the location is, it'll be enough from there.
Yeah, back.
I just have a question for those that have been here for a while. There was the first trip into the jungle, you guys found a statue of Ubtao that imbued one of you with the ability to cast Find the Path, which is a very high level spell. But I think it was Coppersworth that got the ability, who's no longer with us. That would... I think that's pretty much Elixir, actually. I think everyone joined... Wait, Drace, you were with us from the beginning, weren't you?
No, I joined like at least a couple sessions in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
We'll have to wait till Elixir gets back, because that's the 6th level.
Yeah, sorry.
designation.
Yeah, I was just I was breathing Coca-Cola. It's not healthy.
Do you remember in the beginning of the game, you guys found a statue of Ubtao in one of the rivers that allowed someone to
Yes,
cast
I
Find the
have. Yeah, I
Path?
have find the path, but I think. Yeah, I have it.
You
But
have it.
isn't
okay.
that like a location?
It can take you to a location.
It can take you to a specific location that you are familiar with. Okay, so yeah, maybe not.
Like if it doesn't like, I don't think an item would work.
Yeah, you are right there. Okay, well just keep that in mind. It is extremely powerful. Just there's no distance limit.
Yeah, I'm saving that in my back pocket. I'm
Right.
always like having that in my mind, trying to think how we can use it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay.
So we set sail though. The next day.
Yep.
All right.
Do we have a destination?
Yes. Before were we going to something to call the Seer or something like that?
Yes.
Yes, there's a sphere in the mountains that seems like it would be useful for us to go to. And
We
there's
can
also a
start
boat in
heading
the
that
canopy
direction
that
and hit that
Elixir's.
on the way.
I mean, I don't care about the boat that much. It's risk psychology. No.
Climbing over the Mistcliff Mountains would be extremely daunting. It would probably be easier to go around through Jahaka Bay along the River Taff to... I mean, the area is actually along the River Taff, one of its tributaries.
Well, two
Yeah.
things we can get with that is that would be close to where the book was found. Maybe we can find some clues, or we can possibly find the Seer.
We should split up. No, no.
We don't need to
Best
split
way
up,
to die. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
but we might want a smaller boat for the river. I assume that the ship is too large for traversing the rivers.
It does have rowboats attached to it, though.
Okay.
We will need at least 2.
Yeah.
I have to hop
That
in a
sounds
boat
like
by
pretty
myself.
standard
I think we can
expedition.
set sail though. We should probably set sail. I think we got everything we wanted.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay, some bigger bruisers are hired this time by Wakanga. hopefully they will last a bit longer. Kind of the same, roughly the same kind of guy that you were mind reading the whole time. Basically a thug archetype. They will have multi-attack at least, and maces.
Roll's going to go up to each one of them and say, I'll try not to let you guys die.
It's so disturbing.
Yeah, you can see they're definitely a bit put out by that, but they nod and grumble, get their things up onto the ship, and yeah, get accustomed with their surroundings. So you guys have a long trip ahead of you, to the tune of about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks even.
I don't like doing this to myself, but I think I should roll Constitution for the seasickness.
Well,
Hopefully I don't fail this one. Okay.
I feel like that's like 2.5 weeks, like one way as well.
yeah, it's going to be quite a journey. They are prepared. They have an abundance of rations that will last. Sailors tack hard bread, salted meats. They've got a fair amount of barrels of fruit as well, to avoid any malnutrition issues out on the ocean. But generally you're going to be away from land for a very long time.
Well, I'll be helping out the sailing the entire time.
Excellent. I could practice fishing again.
Definitely.
I will spend the how many days is it to make a potion?
A single day.
So I'll spend like the first 6 days making a potion of healing. I think is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Potion.
And hand each of us one. Is that in
Each
the
of us get a
compa-
potion of healing?
Yeah, just in case.
Very nice.
That is real nice.
So that's 2d4 plus 2. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah. Yep. Can we work towards proficiencies
Yes, you can.
also? I bought a rapier, and I think a rapier is like a martial weapon, right? I'm pretty sure.
Finesse. It is a martial finesse weapon, yes.
Yeah. Can I start working towards having proficiency with this weapon? Like maybe spar with one of the more martial guys.
We can have a tussle.
Oh, let's go.
Definitely can.
Fight me. Yeah.
Well, with like 714, what's it going to be? Like almost 20, close to 8 to 20 days of travel. You're going to have a fair amount of downtime to practice what skills you wish.
And you can help me fish.
We're going to put a bit of a cap on it for those of you that have done, or at least once you complete a skill, you're going to have to wait a little bit of time before to avoid kind of just general abusing. This is a bit of a home rule here. But for those of you who have not yet mastered their skill on de-investigation, grill, water vehicles, you guys are welcome to, with the scaling system and how much time you have, it's very hard unless you roll a bunch of ones to not succeed in this endeavor.
Okay.
So how many?
You're going to be able to roll me like at least 16 d10s. So I really doubt you'll be able to fail this unless the gods are against you.
Maybe
let's
they
get who you're talking to here.
Fair enough. For our new players, he had such bad health rolls that he had a level 3 wizard with 8 health.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
9.
9 health at level 3,
Yeah.
and then 11 at level 4.
He got hit by a
that's
lightning
bad.
bolt and turned into ash.
Mush. Yeah.
Burn
Unfortunately.
lightning bolt.
This is
Oh,
for
that's
the
bad.
So, Suni, there is technically not a fishing proficiency as far as I'm aware in Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm pretty sure there's fisherman's
Yeah.
tools.
Is there fisherman's tools? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Cinder, your walls.
So you could add the fishing kit to your proficiencies table. You should be able to. Let's see here. Is it in the compendium? Fishing tackle. That's all they got in the SRD. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, go to your compendium. Type in search for fishing tackle.
Fishing.
Um.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Since we're on, I'm apparently more on a ship than I thought I was going to be. Can I, learn the sailing skill? That's a skill, or is it a proficiency, or what's it?
That's the water vehicles.
Water vehicles, definitely.
Oh.
You can learn with Grill. He would be actively trying to get better.
Okay, so that's
With such
16d10.
with such a long journey that we're on, you are effectively going to be able to gain one skill. I mean, you're almost a month out at sea. It is an immense time. I don't know if anyone has done extended traveling like that, but you guys are together.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time. You guys are together with just nothing but endless, because you can't put into land when you're along the mist cliffs, because it's just dangerous cliffs. Effectively, you have to wait till the end of the journey till you can kind of pull over, maybe get some fresh hunting or stretch your legs on land. You're together for a long time. So over this time, Suni and Grill, you would Nikita and Grill, you would definitely pick up the rudimentary of water vehicles and how to pilot them. You know, effectively what you need for a ghost crew, how to treat the sails, you know, when to when I mean, I don't know much myself, so when to pull in anchor at night and not travel into dangerous shores, things like that. And you ghost a couple of the ship. You ghost a couple of the sailors, kind of learning a bit as you go along. The spotter, the helmsman, things like that. This would lead you over a long time, all the way along the west coast. Now, you do suffer through a couple of storms, but with the extra hands, thankfully no more pirates come into view. For the most part, you travel and you are fairly unharassed. There is kind of one night where something much larger than the plesiosaurs from earlier, kind of everyone is woken up in the night by these echoing sounds. You see the
What
same.
does it sound like?
Can you hear the sounds on Roll20?
No.
Yes, I can.
Turn your Chrome
It's very
volume
creepy.
up. It's just like these like echoing cries of a creature that sounds quite immense as it ripples through the ship. You can see all the sailors
Oh, there
looking
it goes.
nervously, kind of kissing religious symbols around their neck or various hand gestures of prayer.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah, and they're hoping that it won't see them, and this is kind of a very tense time. When eventually,
Quick,
What is that?
get the fishing line.
it sounds like something that could very easily pull our ship down into the waters if it so choose. Let us hope it leaves us alone this night. And it stays with the ship
Oh.
for hours, as you guys gently pull up anchor and start to move on. Even though it is kind of dangerous to sail at night, you are far enough from the cliff faces that they choose to risk it. They'd rather be away from the beast. Is there anything you're doing in that moment, just out of curiosity? Anyone on the ship?
I'll be helping them out, but I'll actually see if I can identify the thing.
Okay, you can give me a nature check. I think nature
Can
would be
I-
most appropriate.
I'll try to identify this well with the. I have the book of monster manual something. I already forgot what the name of it is.
I've always
Um,
got monsters.
I'll play
Yeah.
a calming tune on a flute.
Nice.
Is it actually calming or is it like creepily calming?
It's a bit of both.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe OSD.
Yeah, I'll try to identify it as well. I rolled the one, but I think you said I get advantage if I use the Volos guide.
If you, yeah.
Luckily.
Let's see here. I don't think this would be in Volo's guide,
Oh,
to be honest.
that's okay.
I think with the 14, you would recognize this. Let's just put my music back on so I can think properly. Where are we? Here we are. Once you guys get far enough away for the creature's sounds to die down, kind of everyone breathes a sigh of relief as it doesn't seem to be pursuing the ship, thankfully. You would hazard a guess from the sounds it was making, from just the kind of the bass and the resonance of the creature's calls, that it most likely is a couple times bigger than the ship, at least. And I mean, not many people have survived contacts with creatures this big, but there are stories of large leviathans that roam the oceans around Faerun. Pray you never meet one, of course, but you suspect it's most likely something along that line.
Well, we just
What was
ran into a mythical creature. It's a giant fucking fish thing.
Yeah, that's what I saw
Oh.
as well. It's a giant goldfish, guys. I saw it with my own eyes. That's what I think, at least.
Well, you guys all get super tanned as you head to your destination. Life on the ship becomes the norm. You get into a
And now
routine.
bronze.
You're bronzing. Get into a fairly comfortable routine, and it's not a bad life in general. Fishing, you have the chance now to kind of pull up for a moment and step out onto land for a bit. They drop anchor fairly close and take whoever wants to go across in rowboats just for an hour or two to stretch your legs, to see if you can. Some of the sailors go see if they can use their slings to get any wild hares, any birds, anything like that. Some meat that's not fish, or dry rations that they've been living on. There's
I'll
also,
help them
also the
with my
question.
fireball.
Sure. Oh, okay. You're just cooking things and catching them
Yeah.
at the same time.
It's useful.
It's also the question on how to approach things, because you are getting fairly close to Jahaka Bay, and as lucky as you were last time, the Captain Hikar's ship is not technically, a combat ship.
Would it be better if we went and tried to stealth up in the rowboats to board their ships without them knowing we're there?
Yeah, I think of the ship as a privateer.
Meaning?
The ship is not built for combat.
A privateer was like during the Caribbean, were like merchant ships that outfitted themselves with guns to be able to take on pirates for profit.
No, this is not a privateer.
Yeah,
This
but
is a contact of Wakanga.
yeah, we don't have actually any weaponry on here. That's the problem.
You got these guns.
There's
I
like,
point to my flimsy arms.
well, there's
No, I think we're
two.
the gun.
There's two crossbow launchers, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought they were
something.
fishing tools.
Everything is a fishing tool if it has a spear on it.
So what would be better? Us going in the cover of dark on small boats, or because I do not believe this ship could go against two pirates. Maybe one, but definitely not two.
I mean,
Quite
burn
a
Well,
doors
one
distance
at a
out,
time.
right?
works pretty well.
One is in the bay, and one is at dock, right?
Yes.
Oops, sorry, excuse me.
Typically, that's the roles
So
they
if we-
take. They operate in 3 roles that rotate.
So we could do it a couple ways. We could sneak in and hit the one that's in dock, and then hit the one in the bay. That's
The
one way
reason why
to
I'm
do it.
suggesting hitting the one on bay for the dock is because I'm not very stealthy. A boat
Well, I
might
mean-
help me with that.
We can raise a ruckus on the boat, it doesn't matter that. It's just that we have to be relatively stealthy, not get spotted a mile away. I think it'd be all right.
There's 2 of us. Looking at our new companion wearing her armor, that might raise some alarm.
Clink, clink.
Yeah, I'm not stealthy. That's not really my specialty. Sorry.
Okay, well,
Give you a stick and a drum, and you can pretend you're a performer. It should be fine.
How do
it's
you
still a
survive
ways
this
off.
long?
We'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And we may not get a choice on the whole matter. We may end up facing the one that's in the bay first, anyhow.
They both
Especially if
might
they
be in
know
the
we're
bay as
coming.
well.
They see us coming.
Since we're taking out on the other ships, they might be on high alert now.
All right. As you're
Oh,
taking,
we shall see.
let's just see here. As you're taking off, where is my? Sorry, I just got to find it quickly. There is a sound that rips through the air that brings everyone to immediate attention here. Where is it? And I mean, some of you at least have experienced the crazy dinosaurs of Schultz in the forms of large Allosaurus and even larger T-Rexes that, I mean, are to be avoided at all costs. And you've just had a brush with a Leviathan, but the large creatures of Schultz are in no short supply. And you hear these wing beats in the air that kind of cause everyone to freeze. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. There we go. Flying above you, an enormous red dragon. You see one of the Quetzalcoatlus dodging, not fast enough. It gets chomped down upon, fire leaking out of the creature's mouth, cooking the Quetzalcoatlus as it is lodged in the creature's jaws. And as soon as it happens, it is over. You see this monstrosity of a beast. Now, dragons are huge in all regard, but this Dun does seem fairly young. It is not like an ancient or fully adult at this point, but it gets its prize and plucks this creature out of the air, flying south. This happens over the
Oh, well, that's
mountain,
concerning.
the mountain nearby, and then it flies in that direction.
So we're going.
That's foreboding.
Maybe
Well,
we
there is a
won't have to
mountain
deal with
called Mountain.
pirates after all.
Yeah, I think pirates is the least of our worries now.
You hear Captain Hikar's voice. Have not heard of the beast coming so far north. It is said to make its home in the Valley of Lost Honor, which you guys would be aware of where that was on your map, down here.
That's pretty far.
Well, that's very concerning. If it's traveled this far north for food, then something's got to be going on down there.
Ugh, I don't like dragons. They're scary.
I mean, some of the sailors are...
It tastes good, though.
Gross. See people offering prayers to the random gods of sailors, of sea, of anything that'll keep them safe right now. We travel to quite dangerous waters. Why do you think that there is no one living out here on this side of Schultz?
Dinosaurs, not dragons. Mainly.
Not
Yeah,
only
I,
that-
honestly, I thought it was the undead and the dinosaurs more than anything else.
Yeah, I did. I did not sign out to fighting dragons, guys.
And you also hear
No, it
tales
is like-
of the lands known as the Cauldron, which has been traveled to once or twice. It is said that cyclopses roam the beaches there.
I feel like Chalk was not meant to be civilized.
This island is a very interesting place.
Is there anything that lives here that won't try to kill you?
No, not really. And even the plants try to eat you.
Oh,
Not very
there are
fun.
Chawingas.
Average land.
Chawingas.
It used to be a place that was at least somewhat civilized. You hear Captain Ikar say in the background, I mean, according to what documentation I've seen and art, and there was a vibrant life in the jungle before it all went awry.
Fun times.
The jungle seems to be getting along quite well, though. Look at all these giant animals. They must be eating well.
Let's get rid of this. So, for our new players as well, just so you're aware of the situation here. On the map, you've got these discolored areas. Pretty much anything down the center strip of Schultz, all those areas signify undead, zombies. They are everywhere, like
That healthy color.
literally an army of them that has been released from control and now just wanders, eating hungrily anything they find. So a lot of the life has fled those areas, and people avoid those areas at all costs.
Yeah, and except for the people who live there, there's like we saw a few people that are like
Cannibals.
cannibals that like unmask themselves as zombies and just eat the zombies. It's very weird. You don't want to mess with them either.
They're a very small demographic.
Does anybody live here?
They have a unique taste.
That's a good question.
You've met
You
very...
came here, so
There's lots of nice people that live here, depending on who you... There's Arakocra, the bird people, Grung, the frogs that live in the jungle, variety of strange folk. I believe the party has seen talking cranes, effectively, giant 10-foot tall birds called Eblis.
yeah, but we haven't talked to them at all.
But they avoided
We
them
don't like
because
them.
of stranger danger. Yeah. But now, as you all see this hunting happen, the captain gets everyone onto the ship, and as quickly as you can, you guys continue trying to get the mountains between you and that position. This leads you to another couple of days' travel, where you begin to come around the horn here, so to speak, and you realize that you are coming upon Jahaka Bay. And any preparations that need to be done are going to have to start being handled. About 3 or 4 days more of travel would see you... Where are you stopping? How far are you asking the captain to take you? All the way around into the bay?
How fast can we travel on like rowboats? Because I'm assuming it will be faster.
On rowboats, I would imagine you'd get about 2 miles an hour.
Ooh, it's still very slow. Fuck. Sorry.
Hmm.
It's all good.
Like, yeah, it's a rowboat. We'd have to
Yeah.
still get closer, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so let's see here. There's a great protection, a natural defense, so to speak, in Jahaka Bay in the form of... I can never... Sorry, I really should just check the difference. Mist and fog. It is this copious white clouds that constantly envelop the bay, pouring out of the jungle, giving it quite a bit of cover. So it's not just crisp and clear and you can see across and everything that's happening there. You are at a point where there's a grassland between you and the bay. So if you had to kind of pull to the side here and travel along land for a couple of miles, you would be able to safely, do reconnaissance in the bay area.
Ooh,
Sounds good.
I'm up for a bit of a stroll.
Okay, so the difference between and fog is when you can see less than 1,000 meters away, and if you can see further than 1,000 meters, it's mist.
Okay. That's a weird distinction.
Mhm.
The captain will give you the use of her spyglass. See, who seems the most responsible out of you guys? I guess
Rule
Take out a firebolt.
Grill, you showed the most empathy, so she will go. This is a family heirloom. It's extremely expensive, but it will help you scout out the bay.
Girl is like nervously taking.
Okay. Well, whoever's going aground can go aground. It's going to be half an hour to an hour's hike across the very windy, blustering, rough scrublands. Not much grows here because being so close to the ocean, of course, there's a lot of salt that is constantly washed up here and thrown around with the sea spray. But some of the tougher plants do prevail, and those that obviously thrive near the coastlands. Yeah, so it's 1,000 gold's worth of spyglass she's given you there, so just watch over that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's more than we paid her. Grill, don't slip, because I'm gonna steal that. No.
So any
Will
plan?
will hand over a cupcake to Nikita and Druss, and when it's eaten, they get 2 temporary hit points.
Thanks.
Because my chef.
Nice. Okay, magic cupcakes.
Magic cupcakes.
So as you guys get to the other side, I mean it is quite difficult to see very far out, but to a degree. Let's see here. First of all, is there any abilities or magic that you're using to aid you in this scouting endeavor?
I'm just checking if I have any spells that's going to help me not make massive amounts of noise.
Well, I mean, you're miles away
Oh,
from
dear.
anybody. The amount of noise your armor would make is negligible.
Okay, great.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's about how we come in or what direction we come in from. I think
I
more than
can-
anything.
I can send my my what's his name, my homunculus in front. I mean, we all have a familiar to send in front, honestly. Like 3 of us
Okay.
have a familiar. And I think I can. Can I talk to him telepathically? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting confused. I think I can't. Hey, let me check.
So I'd imagine you guys would come to like maybe over here, or I don't know how far you'd move up the coast to get a view here. It would be a couple of hours. No, it would be like an hour and a half to get out here. What's your
Then
plans?
I will deceive it with the spyglass. Nervously.
Okay, give me a perception check with advantage.
Oofda. Oof.
Very nice. Alright, so it is hard to make things out because of the level of kind of cloud cover here, or fog cover. Waiting and watching, how much time are you going to spend gathering information here?
A good little while, I think.
Okay. So what, like an hour more?
2 hours, 3 hours.
Okay.
A while.
I guess if we're already like spending that much time, I will send my owl. Like he can understand. Yeah, he's pretty smart. I can send him there. His just to sneak it there, and like if he sees anyone or anything, just come back and report. I can't talk to him telepathically, but he's a smart boy.
He understands the languages you speak.
Yeah. So he's. I'm
Okay.
sure he'll get the task. He'll be fine.
Mission gathering, your Strix kind of flaps off into the mist here, getting lost from sight as you guys spend a bit of time with the spyglass, taking a look, seeing if you can find anything of use. You would eventually, from using the spyglass, sitting there long enough, see a little bit of movement in the cover. About, let's see here, about here. Is that appearing on the map? There we go.
The little blue mark, yeah.
Yes. There is and as you kind of keep an eye on that direction, you would see just like the white sheen of a sail in the air, coming in and out of view as it moves past.
Pebble. No, I'm kidding.
This is miles off.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Is that the other pirate ship?
You see a ship. It's
Most likely.
too hard to tell with all the cover.
Is it flying a flag?
You couldn't see the
We
flag.
can't tell.
Yeah. He
What
like
about with the spyglass?
there's too much.
I got a 9 perception with the spyglass.
There's too much fog clouds, so he saw the whites of the sail enough to recognize there is a ship there. Let's see.
The
now.
only other person I would trust with this device.
Well, for your homunculus, give me a perception check with your homunculus, please. You saw the character sheet for him, right?
Yes. Here we go. It should be +4. Oh, very good. We love 9s here. Nine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he spends quite a bit of time sailing around, flying around. Sorry. He comes back
Yeah.
to you, and he didn't notice anything, unfortunately. There's just a lot of space.
Can I
to
fly
cover
a
here.
seagull over to it?
Are you finding familiar?
Yeah.
You could.
Okay.
What,
And I
what do
look
you?
through its eyes when I send it. It can
Has
do
to
it
be
from a
within
mile
90
away.
feet.
Yeah, it's a very short
Mi-
range for that, I believe.
That was a mile.
It's further than a mile from you, the ship, regardless.
Oh, it is.
It's 100 feet for you to look, I
Yeah.
think, through its eyes.
Oh.
Would you guys like to
I know
move
some people if they
along?
want to make some deals.
That was
Oh,
much
gosh.
longer than that.
You sound just like our friend from the other games, always selling his soul.
Or just your firstborn.
Promised like 3 different people his soul. You guys, would you like to move up the coastline closer to where the ship was?
I
Yeah, probably.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're sending
Yeah,
your
After the mile
from
calculate,
here.
yeah.
then Cinder, because of the 100 feet rule, what are you doing? Are you still sending your bird out?
Yeah, can it report back to me what it? Can it just? It can't describe to me what the flag looked like, can it?
Just get the specifics here. It's they are pretty intelligent. Isn't it a fey creature?
Mm-hmm.
Bay or Fiend. Something else I can't remember. Celestial.
Here we are. Sorry, I'm just checking here. Doesn't give us.
So though it is a celestial, fey, or fiend, your choice, instead of a beast.
It's okay.
Okay, it would be able to at least give you a vague idea of what it saw there, I believe.
Okay.
Because fey creatures are generally quite intelligent. But as you kind of walk along the coastline, the ship obviously is moving as well. And as you try and keep an eye on it, it seems to be moving further into this little inlet of land here. Your bird would be able to convey enough to let you know that this is probably one of the ships you're looking for. As you get to about here where the second red dot is, you're welcome to give me another perception check for the spyglass and also for the homunculus.
Go homunculus.
I
If anyone
believe in
else-
you, girl.
If anyone else would like to be doing something else, you're welcome to.
Are we soulbound? Is this what's going on here? Are we sharing a soul?
13. Okay. Well, you have an eye on the ship, so the DC is lower. You can spot it this time a bit more clearly as you are a bit closer. Especially with the spyglass, you can make out vague silhouettes of people moving on board. And as the cover clears for a moment, you can kind of see. Let's see here. You see a very interesting looking figure. Most likely the captain for his flamboyant garb. Where is it? Here it is. And as he turns and you see his face straight on, you can see that there's something wrong with one of his eyes, and there's a bit of reflective light shining out of one of his eye sockets as the sun seems to hit something that sends its light back out. Very handsome devil of a man, Zarum al-Sariak. You've seen his descriptions.
Sexy motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Blushing.
Known by his crew as Emerald Eye.
Nice.
That's obviously a ruby.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a pretty bad name. They don't
A
know.
very interesting red emerald.
Well, it is the name of the ship as well, so.
Oh,
Maybe his other eye's green.
I mean, to be fair,
Maybe
that's some green.
he doesn't have a mirror. That's got to be it.
Whatever, you
Everybody
guys,
on
you
that
guys
boat's
are
just
haters.
colorblind.
Maybe the gem changes its colors when he gets angry or something. So many theories. We must
Now,
investigate.
you see that the ship is it's pulling into what looks to be an area that kind of leads in under an overhang of mountain. Is what your homunculus would be able to come back and tell you.
Thank you, buddy.
Well,
Pat him on the head. Okay, well,
I think we've found the location of the pirate stop off. But where's the other ship?
probably inside, right? We agree that
Mm.
one is at the bay, one is on the dock. Maybe
Yeah.
he's going back to like swap shifts.
Probably. We wait and see if another one comes out, or we head back to the ship itself.
I think we should be with the crew. I think we should strategize.
So you've got like about a 3-hour trip to get back to the ship over the land here.
Ooh,
And
fun.
you're looking at about early afternoon at this point, so it's probably about 1 p.m.
So our choices is really, we go under the cover of the dark in a rowboat, we go on the ship during the day, or we go to the pirate place.
So we saw them going in around this. I can't think. Right. This area, right? How it would be pretty fast if we like started rowboating from this part of land of where the red dot is, right?
You'd have to carry a rowboat
We'd have
there.
to get the rowboat though.
Yeah, but
Here's
like it would be.
Here's something else. It's foggy, misty, whatever it is out here. It's very difficult to see. Do you think it will be better to see at night in the fog?
Probably not.
It'll also help
Would be
mask
worse
us
to be able to see.
from them hearing us, though. That's the other thing.
Ah!
too.
The DM is scaring me.
I mean, how well can you see at night in the fog? Would we be able to see them, even if they won't be able to see us
I
either?
cannot see in
Most
the dark.
likely.
But we know they're there.
So why not just attack now while we still can see them, or at least all of us can see them?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'm the
I'm
only
okay
one that
with
doesn't
that.
have dark vision.
I'm good with it. You want me to
That's
take the
fine by
opening
me.
volley?
Are we sh-
Well,
are
We'll have
both
to wait
ships
until the ship
sounded
comes
or
out.
just the one?
So according to what you know, there's only usually one ship that's out raiding. The other one sails the bay to defend the location of their hideout. The third one is docked with the sailors resting. So if one is sailing here, the other one should be docked and devoid of people, effectively. There would be inside a little group of houses nearby where they make their home.
In other
we
words,
saw
they've
them going
lost one of
into,
their
like-
ships, though. So,
they might not know yet.
They
They
would,
might be out raiding for a while.
they would
or
probably
they might be looking for
waiting.
their ship. Might be overdue.
Yeah, after like a month, probably.
Yeah.
But we don't know how long they go on raids for.
Well, but
They might
eventually,
go on
I
raids
mean,
for
it's not
months.
that long a distance. They're going to come back eventually.
Like imagine how much they had like a lot of loot. Like let's say if they like
Yeah,
They
they've
would've
been out there a
came back.
while. They'd already been raiding ships for until they had a full load, right?
Well, I'm not suggesting that they weren't going back. I'm just saying they might not have been going back.
I'm just saying the other ship
Yeah,
might be
just
looking for them. That's all.
If you're going to attack this one, might as well go now. Otherwise,
Do it.
our path is clear, perhaps. We could forget these ships altogether and start
Fire
on our
away.
journey on the river.
Well, my thought is they've already gone into the cove where the pirates are. We should wait until the other ship comes out and attack that one if we're going to attack the ships.
So are you
Yeah.
wanting to wait here a moment and see, for a little bit at least, if another ship emerges?
Yeah, pretty much.
Very
Because
well.
it's like, that's where I'm assuming the pirates have their little shanty town.
Alright.
So if we go in attack that ship now, the other ship would be getting ready to go out on their patrol.
I think we're pretty
So we
Yeah.
might
safe.
get caught by two ships.
Rejected.
I think we're pretty safe from the second ship. I think it's probably still hanging on to home base.
Okay, so as you wait for any signs of anything really, looking through the spyglass, you get this extended line of sight. Are you guys making use of your animal friends in any manner while you are waiting, gathering
Get a
information?
count. I want to know how many there are. Send that familiar to go count the number of them.
Yeah, I'll send my. I'll try to make it. He'll try to sneak. I don't know if he'll have a successful.
Mine just looks like a regular old seagull flying across.
And you're interested in the number of sailors on the ship that's in the bay, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone. I would want to know if there's anyone that looks a little different, like maybe less armored. Probably like spellcasters, if we see how many of those. That's what I'm interested in, because those are scary.
So
So,
your
stealth.
homunculus is this also going to the ship that's sailing around?
Yeah. I meant to do perception, but it's the same roll, so it's same way. The
Yours
same
doesn't
roll.
look natural. Yours doesn't look normal, though. They might notice it and shoot it down.
Sure, you know what? You got this.
Alright, well, as you wait for signs from your companion, you see the ship momentarily again, and it doesn't seem to be going into dock. It kind of turns and starts to head out to the bay again. As for, let's see here, the Emerald Eye, I'll get a head count for you quickly.
One question, how are we meant to get to the ship?
16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Robo?
Because two of us cannot
Yeah,
swim.
we don't have a
We
rowboat.
don't have a rowboat.
You didn't bring one with you, unless I missed that.
I'll start making a rowboat.
I don't know if that's gonna. I'll stop you. I don't think that's gonna be very fruitful, my friend. I admire your enthusiasm, though.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, and you can see a bit ahead. It looks like the land that you're on, although on the map there is a tiny green strip there. It hits the wall, and there's like sheer cliff faces there, so you can't continue all the way into this cove on the land, unfortunately. At least not on this side. Now, you do get a head count from your familiar. From what I can see, it saw roughly 16 people on the ship, though it's probably not everyone, or might have miscounted.
So, let's organize our plan. Are we going back to get a rowboat, or are we taking the ship around, combat them with the ship?
Well, we can't get the warrior onto the ship without the boat, right?
If you go back to get a rowboat and you come back here over land, you would arrive back here at about 7 p.m.
We would need to get a rowboat in either way, unless you've
Yeah.
got the ability to fly over to the ship.
Not yet.
No.
I mean,
Nope.
Then I
I
suggest
do, but it's very.
When-
I do, but it's very slow, and will only work on one person. So
Nice.
the elixir I got is. I actually got the right elixir, the elixir of flight.
Well, you can at least all fit onto one rowboat.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
be half sunk.
Good.
Yeah, so it depends. I mean, obviously, if you're taking a rowboat in the mist, you have the opportunity, the added plus of being very small, easier to maneuver and slip into somewhere. Although, obviously, if you are spotted, you are a bit of a sitting duck. You'll never move as fast as or be as
It'll be
resourceful as a
rough.
ship.
It'd be rough to be a plate
Oh,
wearer
no.
that day.
Well, I
Okay.
don't have to breathe, so
Oh no.
I mean, if you're
Yeah,
going in
that's-
at night,
no.
keep in mind that if you're going in at night, you can see it's like perpetually misty here to a degree. So keeping in the darkness. I mean, it's pluses and cons. You could run aground by hitting rocks you can't really see, but you'd also be able to see torches, quite this like ambient pockets of light that would make it quite hard for people near the light to see out, as the kind of fog reflects all the or diffuses all the light. So yeah, it's weighing your options, I guess.
Well, first of all, let's hand the potion of water breathing to Nikita. Is that your name? Yeah.
Nikita.
Yeah, because
Yeah, Nikita.
So hold on, wait.
Grill doesn't need to breathe.
Nikita, do me a favor and in the chat menu on Roll20, under where you're typing your chat,
Yeah.
where it says as, change that to your character, and then it should show a picture of your character for us, and change your name in the game. Do you see Nikita
Wait,
there?
just repeat that.
Where you normally type in your chatting. So in the dialogue.
The button
Yeah.
right.
In Roll20, yeah. Underneath it, there's a drop-down
Yeah.
menu that says who you're talking as. It should at the
Oh, okay,
moment say as Sumi, so you want to change it.
There.
There we go. Perfect.
Uh,
And then as a
Okay,
last thing, in the top right by the cog, if you click on that, where it says display name, like the very first one, just change that to your character name for me. Do you see
yeah,
that?
I
The cog icon.
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I
Just
didn't
have
think
to
there was going to be somebody
Yeah.
with almost the same name as me,
yeah, I
so
was about to say
that
it's
works.
kind of confusing that
Yeah,
Sumi is
works.
not playing Suni and Gil is not playing Grill. Like,
It's
it's
very
a little confusing.
I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's getting me a little bit tripped
Okay.
up, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's just an interesting coincidence.
That's not.
I thought it was very funny.
In my last game, or Tomb of Annihilations, a character played a fairy called Orion, and then in the next game there was a character called Orion that played a fairy, and my lord. Sorry, that's
Ooh.
pretty random, but it was a big thing in my life. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
I imagine you just like, oh, don't you have this ability? No, why would I have that? Oh, right, you're a different character.
So-
yeah, that would be a little...
what are you guys' thoughts on proceeding? Rowboats, taking the big boats?
Go for a
think-
rowboat at night
Yeah,
and we can go have a party.
Yeah, you could go back and come back and then take your rowboat out of the night, in the darkness of the night. That is an option.
Yeah, that sounds like the most reasonable.
And that doesn't put the
And by the time we carry it over there, it will be night.
Right, it doesn't
Mm.
matter. We have to
Yeah.
go back for a rowboat either way. It's just rowboat or big
Yep.
boat.
Probably rowboat. Also, if you want, what we can do is if we do sneak like close enough to them, as I said, I do have the elixir of flight. That's what I got today. I rolled a 5, so I can
Okay.
I can fly onto their boat and maybe like tie a rope there.
So
Try to do it sneakily.
that gives you what, 10 feet flying speed for how long?
For
1
10
minute.
minutes. Not very long,
10
but
minutes.
10
Okay.
minutes.
Well, definitely useful to have. Okay.
yeah.
Now keep in mind you also have the wind fan, which, I mean, you can do weird things with the fog and cloud cover around you. A gust of wind, I'm sure. Might
Flip
go
the
handy.
boat. What?
Hey, if you were to give me the the potion and I cast Tensor's floating disc, could I fly 2 people?
Tensor's floating disc, that can hold quite a 500 pounds, isn't it?
500 pounds.
Like 2 people.
That's
So yeah, 2 people or
You
1
carry
grill.
me in one
I
of
have-
those.
And the thing is following behind me over the water.
I mean, you could. Is there a reason to do that instead of all being on the rowboat?
Oh, well, I mean, it might be a little sneakier even, because it's not even on a rowboat.
Floating
Depends
person.
on how
You know,
many people you could fit on it, or I suppose. But I guess if you could fit, like, theoretically, if you could fit all of us on it, we could attack now instead of having to go get the rowboat. But I kind of doubt
I weigh
Well,
I
will
weigh
you be able to
380
carry them
pounds.
to get us
Swim.
back?
Yeah,
How many of us
Yeah,
can swim?
that's why it was theoretically if we could do that. But that's not. I don't think that's possible.
I'm
Why
a
not?
heavy boy. I weigh 380 pounds.
So you can sit on the Tensor's disc,
By me fucking self.
Yeah, but all by yourself. Unless anybody else small?
Nope.
No.
We're all medium.
Well, I can swim. What do you call it?
Wait,
The
so fuck.
other plate where can take the potion. Everybody else can swim, right?
I mean,
But-
I can swim, but I feel
How
like
deep's the water?
It's gonna be at half speed unless you have a swim speed, so it'll be pretty slow.
and yeah, and
Maybe
also
slow,
I
but we can
think
go right now.
You'll have
And
I don't know
you'd
if
also
it's-
get tired.
disadvantage
I don't
on
know if it's
athletics checks to swim. Sorry. For those
yeah, I don't know if
that
it's
are-
mechanical, but we're carrying a lot of gear, so I don't know if we will be able to. I at least I don't think I can
But-
be able to swim.
I mean, unless you're encumbered.
Yes, Nikita?
I'm not encumbered.
Because I'm wearing armor, full armor, would I get disadvantage from swimming? Like, would
No,
it be
you just
harder
can't.
for me?
What's your
Think.
strength?
Well, I'm
Depends
checking
how strong
here
you are.
according to the rules. I mean, I don't see if it's actually built in. Let's see here.
I don't think there's rules for swimming in heavy armor for some
I
reason.
think it gives
don't think there's any.
disadvantage on athletics checks.
Really, it doesn't just.
Just for
Weird.
swimming.
Yeah, just it wouldn't
Okay.
impede you in other senses. Just for swimming.
It won't make you sink
Yeah.
like a rock.
But I mean, a Warforged, you don't need to breathe, so you could just like walk along the bottom if you don't get
Yeah,
picked up by a sea creature.
You're getting both. Where's Grill? You
That's
just see the
terrifying.
Leviathan
Oh my
taking him
God.
away.
Or the fear of
Yeah.
open water, and you're just like sinking. Oh,
We
no.
found. We give it a pair. We found him getting it in by a plant, and now he leaves us getting it in by a leviathan. How they grow.
Oi, oi, oi.
Shame.
Okay, so we're saying you guys take the however long necessary, 6 to 7 to 8 hours even, to go and fetch the rowboats. Take turns carrying it over land back here, and you're going to use the cover of night to try and see what you're working with and infiltrate
Wait.
the cove. Is that
Question,
is that
how-
correct?
Can you cast the how much does a rowboat weigh?
Not
Does
too
it weigh
much.
more than?
It's going to
Can
be
you just cast the disc to carry the rowboat so it's easier?
You could use it to take some of the weight off.
is tenses a
Yeah.
ritual?
500 pounds. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
I'm-
Okay.
Pretty strong, so I'll be able to help.
Yeah. Sorry, I found that
Hold on.
very funny.
A
Um.
rowing boat can be as light as 23 pounds or as heavy as 250 pounds. So we'll say that tenses can definitely hold this.
Yeah.
Great.
So we made the journey easier.
You
I
guys do
think.
not have to take turns holding onto this, and you eventually find yourself lowering it into the water under the cover of darkness. You've seen the ship hasn't moved in a long time. It seems to have anchored itself out in the water. I don't know if you have a response to this fact, but timing-wise, it's about 9 p.m. now. Took a bit longer than you thought, and you can see, at least as a pocket of mist opens up, the beautiful Shulton night sky just burning with stars. You can hear a bit of the nightlife around you, but not too much in the area where you are. Every now and again you do hear a shout, a cry, a laugh on the breeze as you find yourself getting closer and closer to this hideout.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna hit them while they're out and about.
Um,
I'm going
I
to
just want
give.
to make sure.
Yeah, make sure.
Are we trying to this mission? We're trying to clear out the pirates or get information from them. I just want to make sure I didn't
Yeah.
miss anything.
Take those pirates out, and if we can get information from them, then great.
There is a reward
That's
offered.
fair, Eric.
There's a reward from the city that gives 2,000 gold pieces per pirate ship turned in, and 500 gold pieces for proof that you've killed one of the captains. So
Good money.
Yeah, these are
Hey,
villains.
thanks.
I think they're kind of using this to get rich as well as get into the jungle to do more exploring to find out information about the Death Curse.
Yeah, and we need good gear, and good gear costs money. So
Mm,
we need to get Grill a plate, and maybe you too. So everybody needs a plate.
Yeah, I will
Okay.
be giving Cinder my platinum ring for warding bond.
Boarding bond?
Oh, warding bond, very nice. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
I'll also eat that cupcake you gave us.
Okay, good
Yep,
idea.
so you get 2 temporary hit points.
I'll, and I will put my owl on Grill's shoulder or like something like that and tell him keep him with you so I can heal you. And
So you guys should just see
Oh,
a
that is a
black
good idea.
screen now, right?
Yeah, just a black screen.
everything is
Perfect.
dark, but
That's how it should be. Yeah,
Mm.
this is all according to
Dark
plan.
and edgy like my soul.
All right, so we're gonna get you on the map now. Where is? Here we are. Okay, so as you set off, you can hear the water kind of slapping against the ship in the darkness. You're trying to move with the flow as much as possible to try and avoid making too much noise. And it's just these sounds of the waves accompanying you as you're traveling into the distance, trying to keep and watch, trying to notice anything. Soon enough, little pinpricks of light begin to show themselves in the distance through the cover. Where is my music here? And we'll get you on the map now. Okay, party token. Boom. Whoops, wrong layer. 1 second.
oh, this is a huge map.
Okay. So as you find yourself, let's actually get some of this. You're on the boat now. Where is my boat token? I don't have that for the moment. Okay, you begin to move forward, and you can eventually start to see light in the distance. Let's see here. Where would you see light? If you can zoom out, you should see pockets of light in the distance. As you start to make out what looks like a cove, and I imagine hugging to the wall as much as possible, bits of Jahaka anchorage begin to become visible to you. As you come around the corner, you can see in the distance, actually there'll be light on the ship here, as it is kind of anchored out fairly close to the establishment. And from what you can see, let me just get my notes up here. You see a kind of piers, wooden walkways, gantries. You see what looks to be a loading arm up here for pulling goods off of ships. You see most of the light is coming from an area over here. Let me just get my... As you come around the corner, you can hear lights coming from porthole windows as what seems to be almost like the sounds of a tavern. People laughing, drinking. So, I think as you guys come into Jahaka Anchorage and kind of hear the atmosphere going on, you can see 1 or 2 people moving along the dock of the ship there, silhouettes in the distance, most likely keeping an eye out. You can see at the top here a couple of figures with what looks to be some kind of mounted weaponry on top of the building. So not without their defenses. The ship over here does have a single scout on it as well, and let me actually represent all these people so you can see them. But in general, it looks like you have definitely found the pirates' hideout. As to what's going to happen as you enter, that is something we're going to get to next week, as this is where we're going to be wrapping things up.
I'm gonna have mage armor up though for the next week.
Fair enough.
Good, you should.
So
Don't die.
I should
Yeah.
I should clarify, I haven't not cast on Woody Bond yet. I'm waiting until we get just before we land.
Fair enough.
This is just before we land. Dude, this lasts an hour.
It's 1 hour, yeah. I just you. Well, it does break if it gets too far from you. So.
So yeah,
Oh no, it continues. It just stops being in effect.
this was quite a roleplay, intense, and travel-heavy session. We usually do end up having a combat mostly once per session, but regardless, thank you to our 2 new players for joining us today. If you guys, I hope you had fun. First of all,
It was very, very relaxing.
awesome.
It's very
Nice
fun,
little
thanks.
cruise.
Well, the next part is going to be not as relaxing, I assure you that. I wish you guys best of luck as you assault this pretty much base here. But if either of you two are not going to be carrying on with us, obviously that's completely fine, but just do let me know on Discord. Otherwise, let me just, welcome you guys all, and I'm going to stop the recording here.